listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Question for you here on the Annie Fry Show YouTube poll. Is air travel part of your March or April spring plans? The stories keep on rolling in, and travel keeps looking a little complicated out there. And I'm just curious, how many of you folks are facing, maybe you've already done it. Love to hear some of those anecdotes throughout the course of the day. 314-241-9797 is the text line. We'd love to know if you've faced off with some of the TSA lines, some of the frustrations that are out there, and have you seen ICE showing up and just kind of mitigating some of the lines, the long lines, the stress at some of these airports? It seems as though the president's willingness to try to speed things along when the Democrats won't fund TSA to be paid for the jobs they're doing. I think I heard 400 TSA agents have quit. It's going to continue to mount, and as it continues to mount, we're going to continue to face concerns about not just, again, I stress, it's not just inconvenience. There's a security risk that you have to be thinking to yourself right now, are we less safe? So let's go around here a little bit and see what some of those folks are saying around the country, because I've seen posts on some Facebook groups that I'm on. People keep asking, like, how are the lines at Lambert and St. Louis? How are things going there in STL? Are the lines bad? And everything I keep hearing is that St. Louis has got no problems whatsoever. Have any of y'all experienced any of those issues with TSA at Lambert? If you have, please let us know. We would love to hear that as well. In Phoenix, it's crazy to me to see some of these people who are being stopped by reporters in these lines. There's a guy on Fox News earlier this morning, and he's like, he must have been, I don't think he was drunk. I think he was high or something. I don't know. But he's like, I'm just in line for a buddy trip, just me and the guys. And she's like, okay, how long have you been waiting in line? He's like, I don't know. And then that was it. And then she goes, well, what time did you get here? And he's like, I don't know what time I got here. So you have all of these man on the street interviews that are man in the TSA line interviews. And it's hard to get a real clear picture of what's going on, but the anecdotes are kind of fun.
When you see ICE agents, being deployed, what goes through your mind?
I like it. I mean, I think Trump's doing a hell of a job. I like it.
Most of the travelers we spoke with say, while it's disappointing the current shutdown is having a negative impact on TSA staff, they're pleased to see ICE agents stepping in.
They're protecting us.
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
So you've got Arizona Airport there in Phoenix. I just went to that airport, I think. Yeah, I was in Phoenix. That's pretty cool. And they're comfortable with it. An elderly couple, of course. I was watching some of the reports there, and the frustrating thing about some of these lines, if you're thinking about what it would be like for you to go stand through a line like this, if I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about being in a 3-hour line with my 4-year-old, my Lord in heaven, or some elderly people who are walking through having to stand for that whole time and shuffle their luggage and everything through. I've heard that the bag checking areas are just as bad. You would think that it would be pretty simple for Congress to look at what's going on and say, okay, we can see the problem here. We really need to get on it. Spring break, then summer travel comes right after that. I think we can come together. Let's figure out what we can agree upon here so we can solve the problem. Can't we all agree on what the actual problem is right now? Senator Cory Booker.
And so what's happening today in America that should outrage everybody? He's taking this very same agency that has been bursting into our schools, into our churches, into our hospitals, into our courts, and even into the homes of Americans. He's taking that agency that is reckless and out of control and bringing them to our airports under the lie that somehow this is going to help deal with the long lines that he created in the first place. This is an outrage. We should not have an agency that America doesn't trust, an agency that literally has seen violence against Americans, an agency that is tearing away American families tearing apart American families and arresting and detaining Americans and violating due process rights and civil rights.
So you've got Senator Cory Booker standing in an airport in New Jersey, and he's good. He's on the problem. The problem is that ICE is now in the airports. The problem isn't that ICE was needed or bodies, guards, somebody who can help move people through an airport and make sure that everything stays peaceful and calm. The problem isn't that there is a concern about the safety and security of our country and moving people in and off, on and off of airplanes. The problem is that ICE is there. The problem is always, as you've heard them say over and over again, ICE. It's hard to understand how the Democrats don't look at the numbers of people who support and are against President Trump's commitment in his political campaign to deport people who are here illegally, to deport people who are here who have committed violent crimes. You've heard of this Loyola student in Chicago, where Loyola is, and her name's Sheridan. She's out on a walk with her friends, as you would probably do from time to time in Chicago. I mean, I may not. But you would think that if you're going to school at Loyola, a great school in the Chicagoland area, that you would be able to enjoy the beautiful city that you are certainly paying in everything you see and say and do to enjoy that. You should be able to walk outside, shouldn't you? Well, not necessarily, because you know what? Sometimes you just might find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time. Listen to this Chicago alderwoman, Maria Haddan, talk about Sheridan, this young 18-year-old girl who was gunned down while walking outside out at her campus on a Chicago night.
All the time, right? And they go out on the pier, they walk around. So the kids were out doing normal things people do in the neighborhood. And it sounds like this might have been a wrong place, wrong time, running into a person who had a gun. They might have startled this person at the end of the pier unintentionally. But that's all the time.
So you can't make this stuff up. It's impossible to listen to what this woman is saying and understand that this is a reality that people have willfully allowed themselves to live in. Wrong place, wrong time, startled someone with a gun. How could somebody have a gun? I think it would be illegal in Chicago for that gun to be in possession, especially an illegal gun in possession of by an illegal immigrant. There's a lot of illegal involved in there. And oh, by the way, murder is still illegal. Maybe you should make some more gun laws so you can make it illegaler. And maybe these things wouldn't happen. This young white girl in Chicago out for a walk startled somebody with a gun. We've lost our minds. You can't rationalize with these people. You can't go and have a political conversation with somebody who sees the world the way Maria Haddon or however you say her name, the Chicago alderwoman. You can't rationalize with somebody who's entirely irrational, willfully irrational, selfishly irrational. People who position crimes like this. Yes, let's say it. A young white girl out for a walk in Chicago, gunned down by an illegal immigrant with priors. It's an unfortunate political story, isn't it, for a Chicago alderwoman who's of the different political persuasion of a city and a state that champions their sanctuary status, an open invitation to anybody who wants to seek sanctuary from the laws, the federal immigration laws of this land. You come to Illinois. You come to Chicago. You come to the pier. We want you. Oh, and by the way, sometimes there'll be some unassuming girls walking around a pier. Watch out, they might startle you. Do you hear how ridiculous that is? I mean, it's kind of a litmus test for normalcy to be able to listen to that. If that doesn't make you sit back in your chair and say, what the heck did she just say? You got to get checked. These people don't live in a reality that you and I live in. All they do, all they think about, all they see is political outcome. Everything goes through this machine, this processor of political talking points, and they take it from there. I do want to, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in the show. I do want to shout out Susana Mendoza, who's the comptroller, Democrat comptroller from Illinois, and she is out there speaking some common sense into the world. She's not making excuses. She's not looking at what the rest of us are all seeing and suggesting that somehow or another, this is a really unfortunate event, wrong place, wrong time. If that were your child, would you be thinking wrong place, wrong time? No, of course you wouldn't. And that's where we go back to the 80-20, 90-10 issue that the Trump campaign earned a second term in office on, is the understanding that normal common sense people don't want people here who were willing to shirk the system to get here because they haven't abided by the laws of the land. They've sidestepped them. And it's a popular policy among Americans in a bipartisan way that you should be here legally. And guess what? If you self-deport, we'll make it so that you can come back. We know you were enticed here. We know that you were pulled into this country through broken promises, pie crust promises that break very, very easily. We know that you were enticed here, and we know that it was pretty crappy of the people who did it to try to lure you in for their own personal benefits. I mean, don't forget that if you're listening to this right now and you're in that camp of people who came here illegally because the door was kicked wide open and you were asked to come in. You were used. It was never about giving you a better life. It was about giving somebody else power. It was about consolidating, protecting, fortifying power. And they didn't care what happened to you in the process. Now we, as Americans, are faced with a question. We have to care for Americans first. That's just the way that this is going to have to work. We have to care for the people who are here as American citizens. It doesn't mean you don't care for other people. But when it comes down to saying, do you care for the easily spooked illegal immigrant with priors on the pier first? Or do you care for Sheridan, a young Loyola student, first? Litmus test for normalcy, folks. But we can't care for Sheridan anymore because she's dead. It wasn't wrong place, wrong time. It was murder, and it should have been prevented. And shame on every Illinois politician, top to bottom, local to statewide to federal, who supports these types of policies that are causing young men and women to lose their life at the hands of people who don't have consequences for their actions. Shame on them. The next guest we have on the show here is going to be Senator Jim Talent. We're going to speak with him in just a minute. He is going to talk to us about Iran. Are those peace talks in the very, very near future? Are we going to see the war come to a stop? Or is this just a don't hold your breath moment? What does the senator think? Senator Talent will be with us in just a minute. Don't go away. Home Shield Foundation Repair was just talking a little bit with Matt Hayes earlier today, and he was talking to me about the peering service that Home Shield Foundation Repair offers. This is kind of an exciting thing to be able to talk to you about. I know when he was explaining this to me, I was thinking to myself, I know exactly what you're talking about. When the foundation on your home shifts, when there's shifting, there's an unleveling of the actual foundation of your home. You ever see those cracks that come up through the drywall, through the paint or the plaster? You might get a little crack. Where did that come from? Well, your house shifted a little bit. But if it's becoming unlevel, you're going to have a much bigger problem than that. You're going to have what he called stair stepping in the bricks of the home. And that problem could get real nasty real quick. If you hire Home Shield Foundation Repair, they can solve this problem in the way that nobody else in the business around here is solving it. Fortifying your home once and for all, getting it back on level, and doing it the right way the first time with a lifetime warranty to back it. There are a lot of different things that he can explain to you. Just have him come out to your home and show him what you're looking at. And chances are he's seen something like it before. He's going to position you in a way to ensure that leveling is going to take place and be reliable for the rest of the time. 314-271-9900, 314-271-9900. You can find them online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
If you live in Missouri, have Medicaid, and need a caregiver, this message is important. Care at home is personal. That's why you may not want a stranger in your home to take care of you. You want someone who already knows you and your daily routines. With Freedom Care, you choose a trusted family member, a friend, or a neighbor. They will get paid after every shift to care for you, and it's 100% free to you. More than 70,000 people have already joined the Freedom Care family. Call your local Freedom Care. They'll check your Medicaid eligibility. Don't wait until a stranger shows up at your door. If you have Medicaid and need help at home, this care is available 100% free to you. Call Freedom Care now to see if you qualify. 314-343-1362. 314-343-1362. That's 314-343-1362.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Missouri's laws are clear. Unregulated gaming devices are illegal. Companies have been telling businesses that gray market machines are legal. That's wrong. Don't be scammed. If you have these devices at your business, you could be subject to criminal and civil penalties. Unplug and remove these devices today.
If you've been approached to host illegal gaming machines, call now. 800-523-1434 or visit ago.mo.gov. Sponsored by the Attorney General's Office.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead. On your terms, text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
What do you see happening at the end of the week?
They're going to take the deal or they're going to pay the price. You know, President Trump didn't launch those Marines and all of the other assets into theater to be pushed back and obfuscated and, you know, ignored by them at the negotiating table. They've got one last chance. Make a real deal. And it's not a soft deal. I've heard some leftists saying this is just Obama's deal redone. Obama's deal accomplished none of the things President Trump is demanding. There was still uranium enrichment, there were still missiles, there were still reactors going. President Trump wants that shut down. They either do that, or I have a feeling they might shut off the spigot and the revenue stream at Carg Island. I like the blockade idea. It's less risky. You know, we just tell anybody with a tanker, if you tank up at Carg Island, that is now our oil, and we'll pick it up wherever you try to take it to.
So that was Jim Hansen, former United States Army Special Forces, right there, talking about the progress in Iran. Now, you hear yesterday, President Trump was saying that they're interested in talking. Iran is ready to talk. And that's got everybody interested. The markets, they were interested as well. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I don't know what this looks like. I don't know if we've been here in this moment before to know what Iran actually means. I don't even know who we're talking to. Jim Talent knows everything. The senator, former senator from Missouri, Jim Talent, with us. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but in my mind, Senator Talent, you're the best we can talk to on these issues.
Well, that's high praise, especially coming from you, Andy. It's always good to be on with you.
So when you heard President Trump yesterday suggest that Iran is ready to talk, 5-day pause and missiles, although I do see videos of missiles, I don't know what to believe. Are we looking at maybe the winding down of this conflict?
Possibly, but I think it's more likely to go off on its regular schedule. Here's what here's what I think the president is doing. We had maximum pressure in the first administration. We've had maximum support for the protesters. I think this is maximum fracturing of the regime. And you said it before. We don't even know who we're talking to. Well, we're picking who we're talking to now. And we have to, because they don't have a national command authority anymore. So if you are one of the IRG hardliners now, every time you get off the phone with somebody, the cell phone with one of your compadres, you're wondering, are they a Mossad agent? Do they want to defect? Are they going to deliver targeting coordinates for me as a price of defection to the Israelis? So you have an enormous amount of chaos and suspicion already. And so Trump is maximizing that now by talking to elements of the regime, which is the reason why the Speaker of the Iranian parliament is denying that any talks are occurring. I mean, there's chaos going on there. I think a second reason is what Hansen mentioned. He's giving them a chance to surrender. And as far as the terms, well, one thing Trump does not do, if you turn down a deal with him and then he does something to put you in a worse position, he does not then come back and give you a better deal than he was going to give you in the first place. It's almost always a worse deal. That's the logic of negotiations. That's what I expect to have happen here if there is a deal, which I don't think there will be. I mean, I doubt it. I think we've got about another week left before we've exhausted our targeting list. And what I don't know is what the sequence is going to be for giving the protesters their chance at this. And I think that's mostly an Israeli operation. They've been the ones attacking the regime power structure, the IRG. They've been doing most of the decapitating. So that'll be the next thing we see, that, and along with us opening up the strait if the Iranians do not desist from what they're doing now.
Senator Jim Talent speaking with us right now, also chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council. I'm going to ask what it feels to me like a crass question, but I want to ask it because I want your thoughtful response on it. It seems as though our interest in Iran is to eliminate the nuclear threat to the United States of America from a regime that chants death to America. So once we've eliminated that threat, do we have any other responsibility there? Because it seems to me if we're eliminating the threat, we're acting in defense. And then what happens next? Do we have a responsibility or an interest in ensuring that something specific happens next?
We have our responsibility is to continue pursuing our own interests. Now, it benefits the region because what we want in the region is peace. We want stability. And one of the reasons we want that is so that we don't have to continue doing this sort of thing, whether it's ISIS, whether it's Operation Southern Watch about Iraq, whether it's maintaining a very substantial force structure in the region to protect shipping. Remember last spring we fought a 6-7 week bombing campaign against the Houthis because they were targeting American shipping. We don't want to have to keep doing that. We want to be able to draw down, turn the management of the region over to a pro-American security partnership. And that, I think, is the president's ultimate goal. Now, it would be great if the Iranian regime fell because that would make that easier. We would not have to keep policing them, although I think going forward, the Israelis are going to do that. I think we've eliminated the threat, and we've also eliminated the fear that other countries have of Iran. At least we've shrunk it down to a normal size. So what's going to emerge from this, whether it'll be formal or informal, I think, is the Gulf states, Israel, Egypt, Jordan, et cetera, managing the region in a way that prevents all this instability and allows these countries to develop, which is what they really want. You remember last spring when Trump went to Saudi Arabia and he gave that big speech there, okay, and he emphasized, he says, look, we're not trying to change the way you manage things domestically. Now, that message was important to this ultimate goal I just mentioned, because he's telling them, we want you to manage the region for peace and stability. We're not going to push you to become democracies. Some of them are actually moving in that direction, but he's saying, we're not going to tell you that, within limits anyway, how you have to treat women, which, obviously we would like it if they had an egalitarian approach the way we do. We're not interfering with your domestic institutions. We have goals in this region, and this is in the service of these goals because what we're doing is defanging the biggest threat, the biggest adversary. And then I'll add to you because I'm an old guy, and I don't like any country to think for 47 years they can kill Americans, threaten Americans, shoot at our shipping, and nothing happens to them. So I take a particular pleasure out of knowing that the butcher's bill is being paid now. But I think probably Trump's approach is a little more cold-blooded, as it should be, because he's trying to advance the interests of the people.
It's great to hear that assessment of the situation right now, because I feel like it's kind of waned a little bit. The idea that people are throwing out, "Oh, Mr. No New Wars president starting a new war." I think it's been pretty clear for people who have been leaning into this issue that this is a consistency from administration to administration to administration, 47 years, almost a 5-decade war, that everybody comes in, I guess, with some sort of, what's our Iran policy? How are we going to handle them? Is it going to be a soft touch? Is it going to be a hawkish type of thing? The President Trump seemed to take an economic and domestic, that type of approach initially, but then turned two. It looks like he knew exactly what he was going to do when he came in. Why do you think he thought in those 4 Biden years, gosh, I wish I woulda, and now he had the chance to do it?
No, because the situation was nowhere near as favorable in those years. The reason this is happening now is because, and I'll call it the correlation of forces until you give me a better term, and you usually come up with better terms. The correlation of forces has never been more favorable because Iran has been exposed in the last 2 years. Their air defenses were gone. Their proxies, some of them were destroyed, Hamas in Syria. Others were substantially weakened. And we knew we could do this. I remember I told you when this started, and I was, when I'm right, I like to make a point of it. I said the actual precision airstrike campaign is going to be like a turkey shoot, and it has been. Now, I hate the fact that we've lost 6 guys in combat. But, I mean, in the context, I mean, that's obviously, it's an overwhelming victory. It's like winning the football game 77-0 in those terms, which is what we really need to do in order to accomplish our goals. So, and by the way, he campaigned on no forever wars. He didn't say there wouldn't be a 4 to 5 week bombing campaign. We did it last spring against the Houthis. That was 6 to 7 weeks, as I recall. So he said no forever wars. There's not going to be a forever war. The thing that will extend it a little bit, and you won't see as much like active shooting, is if we have to open up the strait ourselves. And we can talk about how you do that. It's mostly a very well planned and executed patrol mission, and will involve some shooting because if they pop up to shoot it at our guys or at the tankers, then we're going to nail them. But that'll be a matter of weeks, not months, if we have to do it. The president doesn't want to do it because it is a difficult task. I mean, I know we can do it. There is somewhat more risk attached because it's very littoral. We're close to the shore. But if we have to do it, we'll do it. If we don't, then this thing will be over, I think, in a couple of weeks. Now, the Israelis, and this is a question mark I have. If it looks, I think the protesters are going to hit the streets once we stop the bombing. The question is, have we reached the tipping point? And the Israelis want to help them by continuing to target from the air the IRG. And I don't know the attitude the president's going to have towards that. I mean, that's a genuine question in my mind. How far he's going to want the Israelis to continue these hostilities if the remaining point is regime collapse. And he knows what he's going to do, but, I don't in that circumstance.
Senator Jim Talent speaking with us right now. Do you feel like the Strait of Hormuz situation that is unfolding right now, I've heard people say that they think that President Trump, critics, of course, say that he didn't prepare for this, that he didn't plan for this. Is this what you think the president expected to happen with the Strait being really where all the focus and attention is right now?
Yeah, so let me say about the president's critics, and this is actually less cutting than most people are with regard to them. The big mistake they make, and I made it the first couple of years Trump was on the scene, is they underestimate him. Okay, so they start from the proposition that he's a bumbler or something. And so then they try and interpret his actions in a way that is consistent with that. He is anything but that. And I say this based on having observed him now for over 5 years as president, as well, by the way, as reading his book, which I recommend to anybody who hasn't. You can see what he's doing if you understand how he operates. So when you said critics, that I went immediately that. What was the substantive question again? What was it? The topic you wanted? About the strait?
Yes.
No, of course. Look,
it's a big deal.
But of course we had plans to deal with it. Of course, we knew that this is a tactic that they might very well use. Now, to bend over backwards to be fair, is it possible that when around the Situation Room they were talking about this, they would raise the Strait of Hormuz? Is it possible somebody said, I think it's not likely they do that because that's their last desperation pitch, and that hurts them as much as it hurts us? It's possible that they may have thought, it's maybe unlikely they'll do it, but they had contingency plans. They're bringing assets already to the region, minesweepers and that sort of thing, to deal with this. It's just this is a phased operation, and they're going to complete the first, or actually now it's a second phase of it, which is taking out the industrial base because we want to set Iran back. If the regime does survive, the best estimates I've seen is their shipbuilding set back 7 to 10 years, their ballistic missile building and industrial base 5 to 7 years. The one we'll have to watch are drones because those are easier to manufacture. But that assumes that that Iran can get back on the feet economically.
Sure.
I mean, before the war, their currency basically didn't exist. We have so many different tools that we can use, other than military ones, to keep them from rearming. And that's not counting the Israelis, who are going to be more than happy to police any activity they see in Iran to rebuild this. So I really think what we have done with this is eliminate them as a threat to the region going forward, even if the regime stays in power.
Senator Talent, in the terms of history and this region, it's always been a tense and tumultuous region of the world. How historically transformational is what President Trump is doing right now? Is it generational? Is it something that will just be yesterday's news in a couple of years?
Yes, I think it is generational, particularly when you link it up and you understand this is another aspect of what he's doing in Venezuela and Cuba. So an easy way to look at this is he understands that the big competition, I call it conflict, but if you want to call it competition, is with China. That's the peer-to-peer competition. That's the one that only we can manage and win over time. So what he's doing, and this is all, it's part of the national security strategy. What he's doing is he is eliminating China's supporters and influence in other parts of the world, beginning with the Western Hemisphere and then in the Middle East, so that we can and he wants to end the war in Eastern Europe for that reason also, and then we can draw down in those areas and focus on Indo-PACOM. So in that sense, it could be generational for the Middle East as well, because the other states in the region have de facto, anyway, accepted Israel. They may or may not recognize them formally and diplomatically, but they fought 3 wars in 25 years against Israel at the beginning, and they lost all of them. And since then, they've kind of recognized the Jewish state's not going away. It's the terrorists, the subnational groups. The one nation state that was left was Iran. And they not only have tried to destroy Israel, but they've tried to dominate their neighbors. They were basically in control of Lebanon, Syria, Gaza, and they had a big share of Yemen. That's all gone now. And so it leaves the region with an opportunity to develop in peace, which would, of course, be extremely good for us.
It seemed as though President Trump and the Prime Minister from Japan had conversations and discussions about the pending meeting between President Trump and President Xi in China, and just a mutual everybody. I hope everybody gets along well. Was the public facing sentiments from that meeting. I did want to ask you about the Pearl Harbor comment from President Trump. Is there any harm And when President Trump is asked by what I believe was a Japanese reporter, why didn't you give a heads up to Iran when you were going to bomb them? And his response while sitting next to the Prime Minister of Japan is, well, you guys know about surprise. You didn't alert us when you attacked Pearl Harbor. Is there any harm in that?
I think in the Asian context and in this context, no. I do think that some of the president's comments with regard, in particular to Canada, have ended up being counterproductive because the Canadians, and they know this, and their writers say it, they have an inferiority complex where we're concerned anyway. And so Trump treating them the way he treated them, I mean, yes, I think that was a mistake.
You think Japan can handle it, though?
Oh, yeah. And frankly, I mean, if you think about this, now, if you think about this, in a way, he was paying him a backhanded compliment. And Pearl Harbor was look, I mean, I'm an American. I mean, it was a smart on a tactical level. It was a very big mistake on a strategic level. They kicked the sleeping dog and awakened him.
Yeah.
And I'll just repeat this. And again, I think I'm showing my age. Okay, there's the bad guys in the world are constantly counting us out. They see us do stupid things like the withdrawal from Afghanistan and the way we did it. And so then they propagate this line that the Americans are in decline. The Americans are, they're going into the dustbin of history. And then all of a sudden we get a good leader. And they say, well, maybe that wasn't true. There was a headline in the South China Morning Post a couple of weeks ago. It's a regime mouthpiece for Beijing. And they said, the headline was, is America in decline? ? Chinese analysts reconsider, I think is the exact wording. Yeah, they're reconsidering now.
Last question, Senator. Any chance that President Trump renames it the Strait of America?
I wouldn't put anything. No, I don't think so. It's not close enough to us. I mean, it's not
think,
like the Gulf of
geography.
America.
Yeah, you think geography would stop President Trump? I don't know.
More likely, he might if and he's waiting to see Xi, by the way, because I think he wants to go there with a win in his back pocket and this wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
No, he might. He might see if the countries in the region would rename it, the Trump Strait or something like that.
I've heard Cargalago also. I don't know if either of those have I don't know if either of them have a chance, but I thought you'd have the inside track.
I hope I live long enough to see the definitive book written on Donald Trump. That is a political biography I would read. He's a fascinating. If people can just approach him with objectivity, which is how I do it. I'm one of the distinct minority that doesn't, I'm not emotionally reactive to Trump, but I find him fascinating. And it's just, he is who he is. And fortunately for us, he's proven himself to be a pretty darn good leader in foreign policy.
Well, amen. What a great way to end. Jim Talent, thank you for the time today. We always appreciate you.
Thank you, Annie.
Take care. Bye-bye. Former United States Senator from Missouri, Jim Talent, former congressman, chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council. It's always fun when I can make him laugh. I've seen people. I did not come up with the Strait of America. That has been bandied about on the old X, formerly known as Twitter. And Cargalago is kind of funny, too. I think I saw that on Jesse Waters last night. Somebody texted that in. Well done, people. Very, very funny. And really, all it takes is for that to get up to the level of President Trump's desk, and it's you got a shot at it. At least a suggestion. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we hear the president utter the phrase Strait of America when talking about the Strait of Hormuz, just to tweak the libs. That's what the president enjoys doing, and I wouldn't be surprised if he would at all. All right, a quick break. Ethan's America. When we come back, Ryan's still out. He'll be back with us maybe later this week. We've got Joe Concha coming up at 1:30, so a little bit less than an hour from right now. We're going to talk to Joe Concha about midterms coming up. How did this all shake out politically? Does it affect the midterms? Is it way too far away? And then Paul Mauro, Fox News contributor and retired NYPD inspector. You see him all the time on Fox News. He's going to join us to talk about that tragedy of that Loyola student that was murdered in what a Chicago alderwoman referred to as wrong place, wrong time. Paul Mauro in the 2 o'clock hour. Ethan in studio next. Stewart's American Mortgage. He's my friend, Stewie. He and I have been working together for quite some time now, and I'm a customer of his. I have used the bagel loan myself 2 times. Very glad that I did. Have a great, nice little rate on my mortgage because I locked in the second refinance, maybe about 2020 or so. First time I did it, I just lowered the rate. Second time I did it, took some cash out and lowered the rate. I don't know what your circumstances are right now. I don't know if you're looking to purchase a new home or if you are looking to shorten the term of your loan. Maybe you need to take some cash out because everything's so blazing expensive these days, and you got a lot of equity sitting right there in your home. Maybe that cash out refinance is the smart move for you. Regardless, make sure before you get your new mortgage or your mortgage refinance that you at least talk to Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. Him directly at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. And remember, the bagel loan comes with $0 in closing costs. No closing costs. 0. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Wait, Corey from Air Comfort Service? What are you doing in my basement?
Standing behind our work.
It's 9 p.m.
At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation, we take pride in our work. If you need heating service, no matter the time of day or night, we're here to help with 24/7 emergency service.
So you're just going to stand behind my furnace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you hand me those paper towels then?
.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Does heart disease run in your family? Give yourself peace of mind with our cardiac MRI bundles at Specialty MRI. Personalized scans designed to give you clear, meaningful answers. No long waiting rooms. Scan today for a peace of mind tomorrow. Call us at 636-591-1288. That's 636-591-1288.
From Fox and Friends, The Brian Kilmeade Show, and One Nation.
This is not going to be a show that you're expecting.
An entertaining, inspiring night that brings history to life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Kilmeade!
Brian Kilmeade, Uniting the States Tour.
Incredible. I learned so much.
I love Brian.
Because we do watch him all the time.
Saturday, November 21st, The Factory. Get tickets now at thefactorystl.com. Brian Kilmeade.
The team at Ricken Financial want to help you make educated and informed decisions about your retirement strategies.
Why not rely on individuals who can optimize your thinking and optimize your plan and optimize all the resources and show you what's all available to be able to make a truly informed decision?
Call Ricken Financial today, 314-207-6211 or online at rickenfinancial.com and join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, Sunday at 1 p.m. here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
Well, as you just heard, the Brian Kilmeade's coming back to St. Louis. It's going to be at the Factory on November 21st. We are actually going to be giving away tickets. I've got 2 pair of tickets to give away today, and then 2 more, or then another pair of tickets each day the rest of the day of the week. So these the prize is provided by the Factory, which is where Kilmeade will be performing. And the potential winners, if you want to win, you got to have a valid email. So be listening in the next hour and the following hour, because we're going to give away a set next hour and a pair the following hour for your chance to win some tickets to see Kilmeade live at the Factory. The time is 12:48. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
Well, it's too bad Ryan couldn't be here. It's his birthday, and we were going to celebrate it together, but he had to take the day off. So
64 years old.
I know.
Unbelievable that he's still working.
Took off to go to the retirement home and book a room, which is
He may
okay.
have.
But we just want, when you see him, say, we acknowledged his birthday, and we've checked that box for the year, and all that birthday celebration in Ethan's America.
Wiggins.
Oh, Wiggins! Not Wiggins America. Ethan's America. Ethan's America.
You know, Ryan was actually supposed to be here today, but what happened was he gave me this story. He said, you handle this story. I'm going to go out and I'm going to try this myself because this is a food-themed Ethan's America, which we don't have very often because usually Ryan has all the food-themed stories. There's no more because that's all he talks about is fast food. He quite literally has a problem.
I almost don't know that we're qualified to talk about it without him.
Well, we're going to give it a shot today and see how it goes. And I thought that this story was actually kind of interesting because there was a survey out there. Talker Research surveyed a couple thousand Americans via the interwebs. And what they were trying to do is get an idea of what is the perfect fast food meal combined between multiple restaurants. What did he text you?
I can't read it on the air.
Oh my gosh. Annie is just sitting over there laughing.
It's so gross. Gross. He's having some stone problems right now.
What kind of
He's stoned
problems?
He took off 64. He's like, I'm going to get stoned. That's all there is to it. He can't do anything about it.
He
but
got
he's
to
listening,
McDonald's,
which is great.
and there was so much weed being smoked in the parking
But he's
lot that he
stoned.
was just gone.
All right, anyway. We'll take this more seriously than we do when he's here.
So, as I said, this is a survey of Americans basically putting together what they think is the perfect fast food meal, being able to go to as many restaurants as you want. So, like, the options being you have a burger or a sandwich.
Is it weird that all I can think about is that the time from when it's handed to you out the window to the time you eat it, like every passing minute degrades the quality of the food?
Stop.
Is that
makes-
true?
I mean, like, yeah, but also we see those videos of like McDonald's food and stuff like staying fresh longer because it's so fake. Do we not?
They degrade so far and then they just stop degrading. They just stop.
Yeah, like you ever see those videos of them like putting them in like a little box? It's like, all right, let's time lapse this for a week, and it still looks normal.
Yeah.
So yes, but also no. So I wouldn't want to eat it, but it still looks fine. If you guys had to guess, what fast food restaurant do you think the people of America think has the best hamburger?
Ooh.
Well, it's hard. I always say a McDonald's cheeseburger is not a cheeseburger. It's a McDonald's cheeseburger. It's something different. But the Big Mac, I don't know.
I'm going to say Burger King.
It is Burger King. It's the Whopper. People prefer the Whopper over McDonald's. Actually, McDonald's is third on the list.
With what burger?
The Big Mac. Big Mac is their main burger.
What's your favorite burger?
Man, I love me a good double cheeseburger from McDonald's.
Yeah, same.
If I'm doing any meal at McDonald's, I'm actually doing 2 cheeseburgers. The 2 cheeseburger meal. It's just single cheese. I don't know. I don't know. I love that meal.
I want a double cheeseburger meal, and they don't have it.
Yeah, you're right. They don't have it, do they?
I don't understand that.
That's dumb.
Yeah, I agree. I like Freddy's burgers. I think Dairy Queen has really good burgers too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think I'm eating a Whopper.
So Burger King's number 1. That's followed by Wendy's, who's not far behind. In the western part of the country, though, In-N-Out outranks them both. They are by far number 1 in the western region of the country. If you're opting for chicken sandwiches, I feel like this one's kind of obvious.
Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A dominates.
That would be the sandwich that I would go. If I was putting one sandwich in there, I'd get a Chick-fil-A. Number 1, crispy chicken, pickle.
Have you ever had the Popeyes chicken sandwich?
Yeah.
I if I did, it didn't instill a core memory in
I
my
have not, but in the past several years, Popeyes made a huge surge with their chicken sandwich, and it kind of became all right, Chick-fil-A sandwich versus Popeyes, what do you like? And the people still heavily favor Chick-fil-A over Popeyes.
Scooter shouts out Culver's. I think Culver's is really good. Freddy's and Steak and Shake. They're all kind of the same. It feels like they're kind of the same type of burger, but I think they're all good too.
Culver's has the best value meal of any fast food restaurant, in my opinion. Their kids' meal comes with basically a regular-sized burger, a small fry, but you also get a small ice cream with it. And it's $6.
If you save the coupons and you get 5 of them, you get a stuffy.
It's $6 for that.
I have a lot of stuffy cheese curds in my house. Did you know those exist?
No, I didn't know those exist.
They turn into dog toys.
When it comes to chicken nuggets, McDonald's beats out Chick-fil-A for first place, 45% to 37%.
They're not
I agree.
chicken.
This is that is just disrespectful.
It is.
This one is it's a lot closer with baby boomers than it is with any other generation. But yeah, that makes no sense to me. McDonald's over Chick-fil-A, really for anything, maybe besides fries. McDonald's fries, those stand king. McDonald's the clear favorite with more than double the amount of votes to a second place Wendy's. I don't know. Do you like Wendy's fries?
Wendy's fries? I couldn't even tell you what they taste like.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. For Gen Z specifically, Chick-fil-A's fries come in second. They got the waffle fries, while many millennials opt for Checkers and Rallies. The curly
Rallies are great.
French fries. Now, this is what happens when you turn 41 and you have 4 babies. French fries for me are completely skippable. They do not taste good enough to invest the calorie intake. For me.
Really?
Get rid of them. They're just easy to pass up.
I could go to a fast food restaurant and only get fries.
I would
and be
rather.
okay with it.
I would rather get a cheeseburger, a soda, and a small ice cream than a French fry, because to me the ice cream will be more enjoyable. The grief to calorie ratio is more in favor for me in the ice cream than the French fries. Those just seem like mindless eating to me.
Millennials and Gen X prefer curly fries over any other type. Gen Z, on the other hand, prefers waffle fries, and baby boomers prefer standard cut fries.
I used to like curly fries, but I think I'm a waffle fry person if I'm picking. But like a McDonald's French fry is its own thing too, right? Like there's McDonald's French fries and there's everything else.
Yeah. I mean, they stand king. They're so good.
They're so good. And their Diet Coke is the best. I'll drive through McDonald's just to get a Diet Coke.
It's because they put more syrup in it.
I think they put more air and love into it.
Oh, gotcha.
You said that like, sure, Annie.
Right.
Joe Concha in the next hour. We'll be right back.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. It still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
There's no better way to upgrade your backyard than by calling my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck Company. Mark Cox here, locally owned and operated for 58 years now, and it is a sign you have the very best because they're so proud of what they do. They offer fences, of course, and decks, and sunrooms, and screen rooms, and patios, retaining walls, and so much more. Chesterfield Fence and Deck takes so much pride in what they do because they've done it for so many people. When they come over to your house, They'll give you a free estimate, no obligation, free project design. They'll take out their digital photo gallery of completed projects and let you see what other people are doing, and then you can make it your own. When they do their work, they give you a 5-year labor warranty and a comprehensive material warranty, and they're highly rated with the Better Business Bureau, of course. Reach out to them today. Tell them you heard about it from Mark Cox. You're going to get 48 months interest-free financing on your next project. Go to chesterfieldfence.com.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
License number GL250000615.
We've seen all kinds of clogs, so remember the rule. Only flush 3 things. Number 1, number 2, and toilet paper.
What about my dinosaurs?
No.
My monster truck?
Nope.
What about...
If it's not the big 3, don't flush it.
But if someone does flush a dinosaur...
Call Grasser. We clear the clog and get things moving again.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Same problems. Elisa Brady, Fox News. Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin is about to become the Homeland Security Secretary, being sworn in by President Trump as a partial government shutdown continues over DHS funding, leading to long lines at some airports as TSA agents work without pay. Thousands calling out, unable to afford regular expenses, and more than 400 have quit.
The best way to put it, it's a disaster. Everyone here will tell you.
Fox's Brooke Taylor at a Houston airport where it's taking several hours to get through security.
So the line, it stretches down different levels all the way to the basement where the airport's subway system is. And get this, once those travelers wait hours, make it up to this level where we are at, they then have to go outside the terminal where it loops around.
The shutdown centers on a Democrat push for immigration enforcement reform. Senate Republicans now considering a budget process that would get around the filibuster rule to end the shutdown. At the Mullen event, President Trump likely to face questions about Operation Epic Fury as he pushes talks with Iran. In the meantime, there's word orders have been given for the 82nd Airborne to deploy to the Middle East, beginning with just the commander and his staff to assess what might be needed if the president decides to use any land operations. Investigators still searching the debris field at New York's LaGuardia Airport, where a fire truck was hit by an Air Canada jet Sunday night, killing the 2 pilots, injuring more than 40 others.
We know that the cockpit voice recorders were pulled intact from the wreckage, but the NTSB says controller staffing, time cards, and sign-in sheets are also being looked at. Video of the crash shows the plane landing at the airport late Sunday. Seconds later, slamming into a fire truck that moves into its path.
Fox's CB Cotton at LaGuardia, where a controller had cleared the truck to cross the runway, but later was shouting for it to stop. An NTSB briefing expected soon. America is listening to Fox News.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Pretty weather on this Tuesday afternoon. Partly to mostly sunny, 65, 47 in clouds tonight. Wednesday, sunny, warm it up to 78. Thursday, opening day, sunny, hot. 92 degrees. Here come showers and thunderstorms late Thursday night into Friday morning, and only 52 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back. Good to have you here with us. Beautiful day outside, a little chilly, but I guess every day in late March can't be a beautiful 80-something degrees. It is sunny, though, and I'll take that. A lot of chatter coming in on the reaction to Ethan's America's best fast food items in the Annie Fry YouTube chat. While you're there, if you come by to join that conversation, you can vote in today's poll. We want to know about your plans, your March, April travel plans. Are you going to be a part of all of this airport madness that's taking place right now? Seems as though in some places they've been able to organize it a little bit more. I would assume that maybe the biggest, it's hard to tell when the biggest spring break weeks are because a lot of people do it based on Holy Week, which is the following week, the week leading into Easter. Of course, a lot of colleges, universities will do it earlier in March. So it's a month long, 5 weeks long or so that causes traffic, spring break traffic to increase. And it's a mess out there. And it just is my worst nightmare. When I go to fly, I want everything. It's a little bit different, I suppose, if I have my kids in tow or if I'm by myself. But I don't like surprises when I fly. I just like to know what's going on. I like to have a lot of time to just go from one place to the other. That way, if something goes wrong, you've got time for it, and you just roll with it because you're not going anywhere faster than the plane leaves. And if you don't make the plane, you're going to have to figure something out afterwards. So I think people get really worked up sometimes for things that they can't even actually solve. When was the last time you flew, Ethan?
I flew last July.
When you go to Minnesota, do you fly or drive?
Most of the time we drive. Actually, I did fly. I flew last fall from Minnesota. It's such an easy flight. And it used to be like when Hannah and I first started dating, this was back in late 2021, early 2022. Flights were so cheap for just like a one-way. Like I could pay $100 to fly there. If Hannah was already there, we'd like drive back together or something. I pay $100. It's nice and easy. Now,
and you're there like that.
Yes, and rather than doing the 8-hour drive.
Yeah, which is so taxing.
Now, it's costing for two of us, if we wanted to do a round trip to Minnesota, an hour and 10-minute flight, it would probably cost us $500-$600
easily. You said yesterday was the poll question was, is affordability still a concern for Americans? And we basically closed the microphones for our show, and you were like, I was going to say airfare.
I should have said airports. Flying has gotten so expensive. It's ridiculous. And I got another one. You know what else has gotten expensive? Girl Scout cookies. Girl Scout cookies cost $6 now. $6 a box. What are we doing?
I remember when they went from $2 to $2.50 when I sold them.
Oh, man. Did that affect your market? Did that affect like your...
I mean, I was still top seller.
You're still okay. So no, that's a no.
Actually, I don't know if I was top seller. I was top seller sometimes, but it wasn't always. Mackenzie would beat me sometimes. Her mom was the troop leader.
Damn, Mackenzie.
she's my very close friend.
Unbelievable, you jerk.
Shots fired, Mackenzie. She does not listen to the show.
I'm attacking the child version of Mackenzie. I have no issues. Yeah. I have no issues with like your age, like Mackenzie now.
Very nice.
Fourth grade Mackenzie
successful.
Though. Screw that girl.
I you brought up Girl Scout cookies. My kids. This is funny. I'm saying this here like this is a private safe space, but I didn't say it in the instance when the conversation was being discussed. But, you know, my daughter, they went to the state basketball tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And they do some fun things for the team some goodie bags and stuff like that. And one of the parents was like, well, give me every girl's favorite Girl Scout cookie. Ooh. And they would put that in a box. And I said to Jensen, I go, Jensen, what's your favorite Girl Scout cookie? She goes, I don't know. I've never had one. And then
Annie Fry.
I know. And so I had to put in there. I'm like, she texted me and she said she's never had one.
You put whatever your favorite one was.
Do some research. I put tagalongs. Isn't that the peanut butter
good answer.
cookie one? Whatever.
Good answer.
But
peanut butter chocolate.
My daughter says, don't the Girl Scouts partner with Planned Parenthood? I'm like, yeah. She goes, well, so I'm like, we're not going to say that.
Listen, we're just not going to talk about that because they're delicious. All right.
Well, I just thought
we're not going to talk about that.
That's not going to be a part of this conversation. We're not telling anybody else what they need to do with their Girl Scout cookies.
Lutheran school.
And I'm not
basketball tournament.
I'm not trying to go after little Susie there, who's trying to sell some Girl Scout cookies, and some nice people said they're going to support. I'm like, ship her the tagalongs. She'll be fine. And then this one mom said to me, she goes, Annie, Jensen's never had Girl Scout cookies? What kind of mom are you?
I'm kind of asking the same thing
well,
right now.
I wanted to say the kind that my daughter said I've never had them. Don't they partner with Planned Parenthood? And I'm like, I am really dang proud. I was very proud of that. She's had tagalongs now. She's a fan.
Yeah, oh yeah. Now she didn't care. Now she didn't care.
Yeah, I didn't buy them, but yeah. So I don't know. The whole Girl Scout cookie thing, every year, it is a barometer for me for how expensive things are. Because when I sold them, I don't know if I remember them being $1.75. I know I remember when they were $2, and I remember when they went to $2.50.
The middle child, my sister, sold Girl Scout cookies when she would have been probably 8 or 9, so that would have been 2008, 2009. I mean, there's no way they were $6 back then.
No.
They were probably they were probably $4 at that point. But man, I mean, we got a couple of boxes. We were walking into Walmart. This was a few weeks ago. We were walking into Walmart, and it was it's nearing the end of the season, the Girl Scout cookie season. So we bought a couple of boxes, and you just they're so easy to eat. I think half of the box was gone by the time we left Walmart.
Half of it.
I pounded those things.
What kind did you get?
Oh, the tagalongs.
There you
go. Speaking of fast food, did you know that Wendy's now has Girl Scout cookie Frosties?
No, gross.
It was delicious. Thin mint.
No.
Frosty. So good.
That's probably the only way I would. Well, I don't know. Because I don't mind mint. Thin mints would probably be my favorite Girl Scout cookie.
Oh, they're so good. So good.
Brad, when was the last time you were in an airport?
When did
fly?
Yeah, when did we fly to Texas? I think that was it.
To the border?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a couple years ago.
Couple summers ago.
Yeah.
I forgot you guys did that.
Yeah, stood there on the border.
Probably a little bit
super hot.
A little bit more boring now. Not as much going on down there. Nice and quiet.
They said, when we went to McAllen, Texas, you could see where people would cross the pathways that were beaten down in the brush, and we were standing there on the Rio River. Just they're like Mexico, Texas.
There's a sunken raft there.
Yeah,
partially sunken raft.
Really?
On the U.S. side. Yep.
Wow.
Here's a report, Fox Business's Madison Scarpino in Atlanta.
Yes, Stuart, it is exponentially different here today than it was this time yesterday over the weekend. As you can see, there is a very short line right now, and it's unclear if that's because ICE is now assisting TSA or if it's just a slower travel day. But regardless, a remarkable change from the hours-long waits we've been seeing with lines stretching all the way around baggage claim. So I want to give our viewers some perspective. Take a look at this. To the left of your screen is what the baggage claim area looks like.
So I'll just interrupt here, and they're showing the baggage claim is basically empty, but they're saying as soon as ICE got involved there, what a wild flex. Whose idea was it to take ICE, who the Democrats are trying to defund, even though ICE is funded through, I think, 2029? The Democrats are saying, no, we're not going to fund TSA because they want ICE to be unfunded. And President Trump's like, I'm going to take ICE and make them do the job TSA is not doing because you're not paying them because they're paid. That is next level genius to your point, Ethan. But also going back to what Jim Talent said, people refer to President Trump as kind of a bumbler, that he's kind of an oaf who's stumbling his way through things and not being able to really anticipate what's going to happen next. But then people also accuse him of doing, or at least thinking he's at a 4D chess level. Which one is it? He seems. Is there anything? There probably is. I might be missing it. But what is President Trump attempted as president that has just absolutely failed miserably? Can you think of anything? Can you think of any wild policy that he put into place, or something where he diverted things and it just crumbled epically because it wasn't? Wasn't thought through.
Not off the top of my head. The only thing that comes to mind that a lot of people push back on and say, hey, this could have been handled better in general. And there's even, some disagreement as to who is truly at fault for it. The only thing that comes to mind really for me is January 6th and the whole debacle that was. But even that, like I said, is not as simple as like it was entirely on President Trump.
That wasn't even the plan.
Right, exactly. And that's why, and it's so murky. But I mean, I know I can't really think of a policy or something that he has done and that has just completely fallen flat on its face. Now, who knows? Maybe some of the things that he's done in the first year of his presidency, maybe we fast forward 2 years, it's like, okay, it didn't work out, but it's certainly a lot of the things that he's done, it doesn't seem like that's the trajectory for where it's going.
Andy comments Doge.
Was Doge really that much of a disaster though? I mean, if just because it doesn't work doesn't mean it wasn't a disaster.
I think it
but
has
it did work.
worked.
I
think
it
worked.
Yes. I mean, I think in a lot of people's eyes, working is okay. Well, it kind of disappeared. It's quiet now. No one's talking about it. Trump and Musk had the fallout. So people view that as it was a failure. I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying that's I think what people define that as.
That's what they're painting it as, but it certainly wasn't a failure. As a matter of fact, the success of it is why it's no longer there anymore, because the Democrats saw what they were doing and we need to stop this. Why are we eliminating all this stuff? USAID is gone. It's gone. It doesn't exist anymore, and that's because of Doge. That's not a failure. It said, hey, look at all the waste this department's having, and when we take that waste away, there's no reason to have this department, so that department is a waste, and so it got rid of it. That's not a failure.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I was just playing a little bit of devil's advocate as to that's what
I think
some
Doge
people say.
is maybe it didn't do as much as they thought it would do initially, but I actually think that Doge exposed that the problem was way bigger than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Now, the numbers may not have materialized. It's not like you could just pull the rug out of the whole thing and here's a $2 trillion. Poof, gone. We figured it out. But we have figured out how systemic the fraud is and how just absolutely part of the fabric of the way the United States government does business. The budgeting for fraud, waste, and abuse, we just know it's going to happen. You make a budget, and I don't know what the digits are, but you're 8% off the top. That's going to go to the trash heap. But then when we had Dr. Oz on last week, and he's talking about rooting out fraud in hospice. I mean, that's a very specific lane where it's not just about the money either. It's about people. It's about people who are you're a taxpayer right now. Maybe you're sitting on your lunch break eating some
ham and cheese.
Ham and cheese. Where from?
What do you mean, where from?
I was going to go fast food.
Who has ham and cheese fast
I don't know.
food
You're the one who
sandwiches?
said ham and cheese. I was about to go into...
Well, I had a ham and cheese sandwich just now, and I made it
Mac,
myself.
And before I could get a name of a fast food sandwich out, you were shouting ham and cheese. And then I said ham and cheese, and you said, who's got ham and cheese? I don't know what we're talking about. I'm just saying, if you're working your tail off right now, and you're enjoying a nice lunch from a fast food restaurant or from Ethan's Kitchen... You're working really hard so that you could put food on your table, not so that it can go into some non-existent daycares down the street because your taxpayer dollars are going to Lord knows who, where. And no, but to me, it seems like we haven't even bothered to ask the question. And if you kind of winked at the question, is there something we should be checking out here? People are like, oh no, it's government. It's just going to happen. You just have to know that's going to happen. And we've got an administration right now that's like, but what if we didn't just allow it to happen? What if we did ask the question? What if we did expose the people who are the liars and the cheats of the world? Maybe they're not all in Congress. Maybe they're hand in hand with Congress. Maybe they're people who are out there who understand how the system works. And what it really appears to be is that they've replicated it all over this great nation, and they're stealing from you. What if that stopped? You want to talk about fixing the budget? First, let's stop people from stealing from us. And isn't it weird when people are like, I don't think we should do that? When people are against Doge, what is it about Doge that you're against?
It feels like a lot of this should be colorless issues. It shouldn't be red. It shouldn't be blue. It should just be, that makes sense. Like, that should be something that, like, people should just want to happen. Like,
waste bad.
Lessen
fraud bad.
Government waste. Lessen fraud.
Right.
And it feels like, because it's this administration doing it, that it's a problem solely because of the last name of the administration.
They have TDS. And they got it bad. Well, go vote in the YouTube poll. Let us know if travel is part of your March and April spring plans. I'll tell you right now, it is part of mine. I'm going to be taking a little trip here after Easter, and I am counting the days and hoping that they get their act together before then, because I don't want to deal with this nonsense. And I know that everybody else is feeling the same way, although it does seem like some places are navigating it better than others. Let us know if you are traveling. And if you have, we really want your anecdotes there. 314-241-9797. You can give us a call and talk to us about what your experience has been if you've been traveling. 314-241-9797, or text us to Ethan's got the text line open. He will monitor that. 314-241-9797. Is air travel, has it been part of your spring plan so far? Is it going to be? What are your thoughts? Call us, text us. Back in a minute. So the Retirement Advisory Group, 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494. Have you contacted them yet? I hope you have, but if you haven't, throw the number down, put it in your phone. You can just go to the website as well, but here's the number, 314-993-9494. You're going to call Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, and connect with them so that you can get that plan started, that plan for a worry-free retirement. It's what you've been dreaming of. That's what you've been working your tail off for. And it's real close. You're at that age where retirement is the next step. Are you ready for it? Do you have enough nest egg that's going to last the duration of your retirement? Can you build yourself that personalized structured income plan with the Retirement Advisory Group? Just give them a call and ask them about how they can help you. They're going to ask you where you are and what your expectations are. And I think you'll be happy with the results. You can trust the folks at the Retirement Advisory Group. Many 97.1 and Annie Fry Show listeners have. 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
A lot of people are getting their air conditioners tuned up and ready to go for the summer, and we're getting a lot of calls of people saying they want a second opinion, to have us come out and requesting us to come out there and take a look at their air conditioners. They've been told that they need a new one, and the repair is quite costly, and it might be best for them to replace the air conditioner and then repair it. If you're in that situation, please give me a call, because there is truly some opportunities here for you that we could save you lots of money, because I'm sure you're going to be shocked. We have the equipment that still works best for you with your budget. It's pretty much the best. It's what I would put in my home. It's what I would recommend. Give me a call. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois. That is 314-293-2600. Or the online thing, and that is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, buy one, get one room of carpet clean for free, unlimited rooms of carpet. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and tell them 97.1 sent you.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. The poll today, we're asking you to call us or text us about your travel plans if you've experienced some of the TSA craziness, or maybe you've been through the airport and it's been easy breezy. 314-241-9797, call or text, and we'll comb through some of those messages from you all. Ethan sent me this post. Clay Travis posted this on X. Atlanta's Delta Airlines announced this week that it is suspending its standalone service for members of Congress until the TSA is fully funded. Quote, due to the impact on resources from the longstanding government shutdown, Delta will temporarily suspend specialty services to members of Congress flying Delta. Next to safety, Delta's number one priority is taking care of our people and customers, which has become increasingly difficult in the current environment. A spokesperson for Delta told the AJC that House and Senate members will now be treated like all flying passengers, according to their SkyMiles status. In other words, just like you and me. Can you imagine having to fly out of D.C. or something, and you're standing in the regular old TSA line there with Chuck Schumer? I don't know. Hey, Chuck. Sucks, don't it?
Why are we here, Chuck?
This is what we call a Delta dub. That's what we're calling
You like
this.
the Delta dub?
Yep.
The win.
This is a massive W. We need more of this. How long would it take if Southwest, American, United, Delta's already done it, all of the major airlines, if they did this exact same thing, how long would it take for the TSA to get funded?
I think we're about to find out. We were talking about this off air. I'm not 100% sure what I don't know that there is this airtight thing that the Democrats want to have happen that the Republicans say, fine, we got to get everything up and running. We'll do it. They're not going to defund ICE. They were brilliant in the big, beautiful law, the BBL. They were brilliant to make sure that ICE was funded for the long haul, so it wasn't part of the negotiating. They're not going to undo that. It's not going to happen. Do you feel like the Republicans have any responsibility here to cave?
No. I mean, they've already said, okay, we'll do body cams. The new Department of Homeland Security person is being sworn in now, Mark Wayne Mullen, so Kristi Noem's gone. I mean, everything else that they're asking for, judicial warrants, that's ridiculous. To go through the judicial system, it's never been like that. It has always gone through the immigration courts. They also want ICE agents to stop wearing masks. You can't have them do that because you all aren't responsible enough to allow an ICE agent to go unmasked without doxing them and threatening their lives. You're crazy. They should keep their mask on so them and their families are safe. So I don't know what else they want or what else they think they're going to get. This is insane.
I don't. It's posturing for political purposes. Joe Concha is going to be with us here in a minute, and we will ask him about the political ramifications of the shutdown, the war, gas prices going up. I saw gas on the way in today in St. Louis was $3.69.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to go higher than that in Missouri?
Jeez, I hope not. I mean, it's so hard to have an idea. I mean, the oil prices are just like all over the place. They're up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, down. You know, it's just it feels so unpredictable right now. It feels like, I mean, we've been told for the last couple of weeks, so like, you know, we're getting there. This is ahead of schedule. But I don't know. I am expecting it to get worse before it gets better. I'm just hoping that regardless, the better is not far away.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. I want to make sure we get to Joe Concha on time here in just a minute. The Fox News contributor, author of The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign, which you can get right now. We'll speak with Joe Concha and find out, is it too soon? I kind of feel like it is the end of March. Are we fretting about midterm elections and how they're going to materialize? There's a lot to happen between now and then. David on YouTube just said it's 3:19 in Oklahoma. Gosh, Oklahoma. Okay. Joe Concha here, coming up on the Annie Fry Show next. Don't go away. Air Comfort Service. You find them online at aircomfortservice.com. If you are concerned about the quality of your air in your home, this is really a way to really plus up the comfort level of your home. Of course, you want to make sure that the room is the temperature that you're paying for it to be. Of course, the temperature that you want it to be. You don't want the air to be running all the time, to heat it to 68, to cool it to 72 or whatever it might be. You're running your air conditioner, you're running your heater, you want it to do the job. But what about the quality of that air? What about the springtime dander and grossness, that allergens that come into your home and plague your sinuses? How about calling Air Comfort Service right now, 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, and talking to them about your HVAC system. And if you install a new HVAC system right now, if you know that that's in the future, while March is still here, so you got to call and get this question in now. If you get a new HVAC system installed, you're going to get an air scrubber for free. It's going to help you remove allergens, bacteria, viruses, surface contaminants, odors, and more from your house. That comfort zone is going to level up with Air Comfort Service. Find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
If you live in Missouri, have Medicaid, and need a caregiver, this message is important. Care at home is personal. That's why you may not want a stranger in your home to take care of you. You want someone who already knows you and your daily routines. With Freedom Care, you choose a trusted family member, a friend, or a neighbor. They will get paid after every shift to care for you, and it's 100% free to you. More than 70,000 people have already joined the Freedom Care family. Call your local Freedom Care. They'll check your Medicaid eligibility. Don't wait until a stranger shows up at your door. If you have Medicaid and need help at home, this care is available 100% free to you. Call Freedom Care now to see if you qualify. 314-343-1362. 314-343-1362. That's 314-343-1362.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Bringing a data center online takes more than equipment. It takes precision. Graybar helps customers predict, stage, schedule, deliver, and verify every step of the build with critical products that are available now. From networking and wireless to critical power and testing tools, our teams help you reduce downtime risk and keep projects on track. Speed, scale, ready now. Yep. Graybar does that.
Did you know replacing old vinyl windows with more vinyl windows might not be the best choice? Hi, it's Kim, and I'm here to tell you about Infinity from Marvin Windows, because these fiberglass windows, they're energy efficient, they're beautiful, and they're custom built to fit your home perfectly. The team at Lakeside Renovation and Design just makes the process so easy. I love the fact that they even offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. Look, if you're tired of drafts, high energy bills, or maybe hard to open windows, now is the time to upgrade. Visit windowsbylakeside.com to schedule your free consultation today.
From the gateway to the airwaves. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Oh, what What you know, Joe? I don't know nothing.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry
What you
Show.
know,
The
Joe?
YouTube poll for today, we're asking you if air travel is part of your March, April, spring plans. Yes or no? I'll be traveling a little bit in mid-April. Looking forward to that. But, hopefully it's possible that they get it fixed by then. Let's listen in here to President Trump. He's answering questions right now in the White House just after the swearing in of new Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne Mullen. Is Joe ready? I would much rather talk to Joe Concha than listen to Donald Trump every single day of the week, without question. Joe Concha
I am here.
on the Annie Fry Show. Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm well. Sorry, I double booked myself, so
You're
I won't
fine.
be able to stay along. But let's talk.
That's okay. No, I appreciate it. I want to. The number one question, I'll just get straight to it, that I wanted to talk to you about is there's a lot of things right now that we're kind of midstream on a lot of issues, and politically, depending on which way it breaks, it's going to be really good for one party. It's going to be really bad for one party. Are you freaking out about midterms at all at this point in March?
The only concern that you have to have if you're a Republican and you don't want House Speaker Hakeem Jeffries and then Trump being in impeachment hearings for perpetuity is the fact that they only have a margin of three. So it's not like Democrats have to really kill it and they really have to blow things out. They just have to win by a safety, basically, in football terms. I guess, that's only two. I get it. A field goal, whatever. They don't need much to take back the House. And historically, we have seen, you've heard this 100 times, the party in power always loses seats. It almost never not happens. Even when Republicans took back the House, it was supposed to be a red wave.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, they underperformed. They still. So all of that said, if the economy is going great and the Iran war is settled, which I think it will be, everything going in the direction. Republicans have a shot to hold on to the House, but it's 50%. That's if everything's perfect. And don't know what the world will be like in November. Those elections happen. But again, pass the SAVE Act, and at least you'll have fair elections. That I do know.
Amen to that. We're speaking with Joe Concha right now, Fox News contributor on X at Joe Concha TV, author of The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign. Are the Democrats campaigning on anything right now? It still kind of feels like it's all Trump bad.
Trump bad, ICE bad, right? So we saw with Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah, true.
Tells Dana Bash over the weekend, who doesn't push back on this at all, which, again, I'm tired of the people that play, like, the objective journalists. Like, MSNBC, there's certain people on there, they kind of own who they are, right? They're far less activists. Dana Bash just lets Hakeem Jeffries go on her show, and he says ICE agents are going to come into airports and start killing people. Like, literally said that. I'm sure you played the clip. And she just sits there with the Dana Bash / Caitlin Collins face, right? That kind of frown, doesn't move. Like you almost have to give them a defibrillator just to see if they're still alive, kind of thing. And how do you not push back on that? What do you mean they're going to kill people? They're going to just start. It's going to be a turkey shoot. And meanwhile, we saw the result of what's happened over the last day of ICE being there alone, Atlanta Hartsfield or other major airports. Suddenly don't have the lines they used to. So Trump with a 4D chess move to take away the Democrats' leverage here by putting in people that are being paid. So I don't know. They're running on affordability. That gave us the Inflation Reduction Act that every Democrat in the House unanimously voted for that only drove up inflation. They believe more regulation, more spending. We saw the Biden years. Republicans should just run on, okay, if they're going to talk about affordability, then you're going to get exactly what you had under Biden. You know it. They don't know anything in terms of fixing the problem because they caused it in the first place. Republicans should say that, but as of now, I don't know. I'm not saying they're conceding the argument, but it's not strong enough in terms of Republicans that are running, connecting it back to Biden, the auto pen, and that administration and what people lived through for 4 years, which nobody liked.
Last question before we let you go. We're speaking with Joe Concha. Grateful for your time this afternoon. Do you feel that's all right? Do you feel like if President Trump that he has the ability to stick the landing on Iran, oil prices come down, gas prices go back to what they were when he fixed them the first time? Do you feel like that people are going to feel a resolve that he ended a 47-year war rather than what kind of started as a criticism of starting a new one?
Boy, I would think if he sticks the landing, yeah. And suddenly he gets all the concessions that he wants. Strait of Hormuz is open. That's the big one. And then oil prices come down. Therefore, gas prices come down because that's a tax on everybody. Then, yeah, he sticks the landing. The question is it preferable to those running for the House?
Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th and 47th President of
Yeah, we're still there. I don't know what's happening here. We had some sound playing. Sorry, you know how live radio goes. Anyway, go ahead. Finish your
TSA
point.
Apparently, I think I was going to say that Republicans voters come out in the midterms if Trump's not on the ballot. Whenever he's not been on the ballot, they don't come out. They come out like 85%, but for whatever reason, maybe because they still don't trust the brand. I'm not sure. 1 and 2 point raises in those some districts, and again, that's the member that Democrats need at this point. But I think he'll get credit down the line as far as being a guy that if he could somehow transform Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran all within a couple of months there, Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, just finally give it to the guy already, for the love of God.
Yeah, so you have to stop taking them from people. Joe Concha, thank you. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you again soon.
I promise I'll join next week for 25 minutes if you like me.
Oh, okay. You can host.
Yeah, let's go.
Joe, take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Joe Concha there, Fox News contributor, the author of The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign. It's an incredible book. It's a must-have. We're going to break here real quick. When we come back, we're going to dip into the White House Oval Office right now. The president has sworn in Mark-Wayne Mullen. He is now the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, and he's taking questions. Let's listen in and find out what kind of questions he's answering, because every minute that passes right now with a government shutdown with DHS, with the conflict in Iran, the war in Iran, there's a lot to be heard, and we want to hear what the president has to say from his own mouth, from the Oval Office. We'll do that as soon as we come back. Don't go away.
Brian Kilmeade is coming back to St. Louis for one night in November. Just listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show, the Annie Fry Show, and the Mark Reardon Show like you usually do. But pay attention for us to tell you when to call to win free tickets.
Heidi Ricken Provost of Ricken Financial understands the importance of financial stability in your retirement plans.
If there's something we can do to help benefit your financial future and provide more strength and stability in your retirement plan, that's exactly what we do here. And we do so on a complimentary basis.
Call today, 314-207-6211 or online at rickenfinancial.com and join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Well, now's the time. If you want to win a pair of Kilmeade tickets to see him at the factory on November 21st, call now. Be caller number 10. Call in at 314-241-9797. That's 314-241-9797. Be the 10th caller and win. Good luck.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
So the president is speaking in the Oval Office right now and answering questions after swearing in now Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, Mark-Wayne Mullen. So we're going to listen in and see what kind of questions the president answers, maybe get some more answers on the shutdown, how that's going, the SAVE Act, the possibility of progress in ending the war in Iran. Let's listen.
I love that expression. No one's going to outwork me. That's a wrestler's expression, isn't it? Huh? That's a good wrestler's expression. Yes, please.
Mr. President, will the Secretary's replacement in the Senate support the SAVE Act and the use of the talking filibuster to get it through?
Well, it's not the SAVE Act. It's not called this. It's called the Save America Act. There's a big difference because the SAVE Act, nobody knows what that means. Save America means Save America. And I can't speak for him, but I would imagine that Mark-Wayne, I didn't even ask him the question because who wouldn't support it? voter ID with a picture. You want citizenship, proof of citizenship. Ideally, you want to end mail-in ballots because there's tremendous corruption. Then we added a couple of things, Mark Wayne, like I don't think being a great athlete and having a family of great athletes, they have produced great athletes in this family, all-American wrestlers. They especially like wrestling, by the way. And what about baseball? Do you play baseball? Anything? They like wrestling. But I don't think that you would say that his family, and I don't know this for a fact, and I shouldn't say it because I could get myself. Does anybody in your family want men to play in women's sports? I don't think so, Jim, right? I don't think so. I don't think. How would they do? Would they do good wrestling you? They would be in trouble? He said, yes, they'd be in big trouble. It's so crazy. So that would be one. And then we have a few others that we call them the best of Trump. But if you look at transgender mutilization of children, we don't want that. It's the mutilization of children. We don't want that. So generally speaking, I think I can answer that Mark Wayne would be very much in favor of what I'm in favor of. Would you say that's right, Mark? I can't think of too many things. He might be worse. He might be worse than me. That's my look at his wife is saying. That's right. But so yeah, he's going to be great. Yeah.
Do you believe the secretary will run DHS any differently than Kristi Noem did? What do you hope to see as his priorities?
Well, we had a good run. Look, we created the strongest border with the help of that man right there. Tom is so incredible, and he's going to be a big influence here too. There's nobody more professional, nobody better. There's nobody better as a human being. You know, he looks tough, but he's got a good heart, but not too good. Don't make it too good. But you know, we had Tom. We have the safest border we've ever had. We have a lot of assets, but a lot of things we can do, and we're going to do. We have to get criminals out of our country that were allowed in by Biden. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, do you support what appears to be emerging agreement coming out of the Senate to reopen DHS?
Well, I'm going to look at it, and we're going to take a good hard look at it. I want to support Republicans, and you know, sometimes it's awfully hard to get votes when you have Democrats that don't want to have voter ID, they don't want to have proof of citizenship, they don't want to do anything about men playing in women's sports. That's one of the items we put on, you know. And I did that just because it's so popular. You know, they say that's at least an 80-20 issue. No, it's about a 99-1. I don't think it's, what do you think, Pete? Do you think it's 80-20? Who's closer, 80-20 or 99-1?
Almost 100.
Yeah, I think 100 is really the, so, you know, so I support that, and I support common sense.
Would you be comfortable with a deal that involves separating ICE funding from the DHS funding package in order to reopen?
Well, they're working on all of that. You know, that's a detail that they'll explain later. Please.
Election integrity and DHS measures. Mr. President, since CISA falls under DHS, and given that many credible voices have raised concerns over its premature and possibly likely faulty 2020 election assessment, will you and Secretary Mullen implement reforms at CISA and at DHS to ensure full confidence in future elections, like in the upcoming?
We'll talk about it, you know, pros and cons. Look, they used it to try and put me in prison, right? So I can't be thrilled with it. They used that very strongly, very illegally. The Democrats are thugs, and I don't want to say that. It would be nice to everyone get along, but it's a different country than it was years ago. It was very dangerous the way they used it. And they weaponized government. They used that to weaponize government. So I'm not thrilled, but I'll also go along with two groups of people, the military, and I think the military likes it, right? And I'll go along with the senators. I'm fine. But I was a big victim of it. Yeah, please.
Are you going to send Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff to do direct negotiations with the Iranians?
Yeah, well, we're in negotiations, as it turned out, and now you've seen what I said yesterday was exactly correct. We're in negotiations right now. They're doing it along with Marco, JD. We have a number of people doing it. And the other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal. And who wouldn't if you were there? Look, their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their communications are gone. That's the biggest problem. It's very hard to communicate them between themselves. All of the anti-aircraft is gone. Most of their missiles are gone. We either shot them or they shot them and don't have them anymore. They're down to a trickle. They're pretty much everything they have is gone. I don't know. Can you name one thing that's not gone, or can you name one thing that's doing well? You know, if you read the papers, you think we're tied. You think we're in a tough battle. We are roaming free over Tehran, the city, Tehran, as opposed to Iran. We're roaming free. We can do whatever we want. And as you know, today we were going to have the privilege of shooting down a very big electric generation plant, one of the biggest in the world. And one shot to the right location ends the plant, it collapses. And we held off based on the fact that we're negotiating. Yeah.
What do you think was the turning point to make you want to pursue a ceasefire? A few days ago, you said you wanted to continue bombing Iran. Now you want to pursue peace talks. Was there something that happened?
The fact that they're talking to us and they're talking sense. And remember, it all starts with they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Just, I said yesterday, they said, what are the top 10? I said, well, number 1, 2, and 3 is they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And we're talking about that. And I don't want to say in advance, but they've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that.
How do you ensure they won't have a nuclear
Your
weapon?
former Border Patrol chief, Greg Bavino, said his only regret is that he didn't catch more illegal aliens. What's your reaction to that?
Who said that?
That's your former Border Patrol chief. He just retired.
Well, I mean, we captured a lot. They were allowed into the country by Sleepy Joe and that group of incompetent people that were, he was the worst president ever, the group of incompetent people. To me, that's the biggest scar. Inflation, they caused the highest inflation we've ever had. We've already gotten rid of it. The biggest scar is what they did, the people that they allowed from prisons all over the world. They came from the Congo, from all over South America. Rough people, really tough people. So, no, I understand what he means. He would have liked to have captured more. I'm not capturing so much as removing. We're removing thousands of people. And many are self-deporting because we're going after them so powerfully that they're self-deporting, Tom, going back. I think that's one of the big unkept secrets. We have thousands and thousands of people, and they're self-deporting. They're going back to where they came from. But what we want really is the criminals. We're really focused on those criminals, getting them out. Yeah.
What's your message right now to Democrats and also to Americans that are stuck at airports? It's really devastating watching it online because Democrats won't fund DHS.
What's devastating?
Your message to Americans right now stuck at airports as we speak because Democrats won't
Well,
fund
they
DHS?
just don't, they won't. Look, this is a deal that was done in the great big beautiful deal, which gave you the biggest tax cuts ever, including no tax on tips and no tax on Social Security for the seniors. Think of it, no tax on overtime, tax deductions when you buy a car, you take money, you pay interest on the money, you deduct it. We've never had that for people buying cars, if it's an American car, only if it's an American car. But they are just they stick together, the Democrats. I tell you, I give them great credit for that. We have some that they're not good stickers. We have guys like Tom Massey in Congress, who's terrible. He's just terrible person. I call him Rand Paul Jr. But they don't vote. Rand Paul, rarely votes for stuff. Likes me, says I'm a great president. He said the other day, I'm a great president, one of the greatest presidents. But I said, do me a favor, vote for us and don't call me a great. I'd rather have the vote than the statement. But we have people that don't stick together, and those people hopefully will someday be gone. The thing I most respect about the Democrats, even on horrible policy, they stick together. Policy, transgender for everyone, open borders, men and women's sports. They have the worst policy that you can imagine. And so whether they stick together or not, they have just this terrible policy. We have great policy. Republicans have great policy. We have common sense policy, but it's great policy. That's our biggest advantage, is our policy is correct. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, are you encouraging our allies in the Gulf to be more involved in the Iran operation?
Say it.
Are you encouraging our allies in the Gulf to be more involved in the Iran operation?
Yeah, a little bit, but more NATO. I think our Gulf allies have been pretty good, to be honest with you. UAE's been hit so hard. He got hit by 1,400 rockets, shot them all out of the air with our great Patriot missiles. Think of it, they shot 100 missiles at one of our aircraft carriers, the Abraham Lincoln, one of the biggest ships in the world, actually. And out of 101 missiles shot, every single one of them was knocked down in the sea. Think of that. Think of what that means. 101 missiles, highly sophisticated, very fast missiles shot. Out of 101, all 101 were shot down, and now, for the most part, lie at the bottom of the sea. Pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing. Our military is amazing, Pete. You know the attack I'm talking about recently? 101 shot. I said, wow. I saw that. You can see we have sort of pretty good equipment that we see. It's called the red line. Those red lines were thick, right? I said, that's a lot. And then we saw them one by one just get shot. And these guys that do the shooting, the coolest cucumbers ever. You know, most people, you don't have a lot of time. When a missile's going at 2,500 miles an hour, I don't care how far away it is, you don't have a lot of time. But I watched them sit down and think. Great students, MITs, a lot of MITs, a lot of guys like this, and not as much into the muscle as they are, this one right here. And amazing to watch them perform under great pressure, because they have a matter of seconds to do it. If they don't do it properly, it's a big problem, you know, because these were powerful. These were very powerful missiles coming. And so a lot of people choke. They don't choke. These guys don't choke. They're the best in the world. We have the best in the world, yeah.
Mr. President, what would be your message today to the TSA agents who have been staying home in recent days amid this impasse?
Well, some of them are needing money, you know, because the Democrats cut off their money. I blame the Democrats more than anything else. But some of them, you know, they didn't get paid because they're not funded by the Democrats. This is a Democrat problem. In fact, I actually said to the Senate, why would you say this is a Democrat problem? I think the polls are showing it's a Democrat problem. And they'll do anything actually to hurt our country so they can try and win the midterms. And if we ever went back to our old policies, we wouldn't have a country left.
President Trump speaking from the Oval Office today, hitting a whole bunch of issues with I was going to say Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. Nope, Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen in the Oval Office with him as he has just been sworn in as the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. I was going to say Department, which he could be. If you go back and you look at the greatest hits of Mullen in the Senate, he rumbles with anybody. It was maybe 3 weeks ago, he was rolling with Bernie Sanders. It's a clapping back at old man Bernie and fearless. Rand Paul didn't vote for him, didn't vote to approve him. There were 2 Democrats that voted to confirm Mullen, Fetterman, and one from Michigan, I think it was. It wasn't Klobuchar. It might have been Minnesota. It was an M state. I have to go back and look and see which one it was. But Rand Paul wouldn't do it because Mullen and Rand Paul don't get along. That's really the essence of it. Other than that, all the other Democrats and Rand Paul voted against Mullen, but he did get confirmed. He is sworn in. He is the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. And the president, I'll have to say, just watching him navigate a press conference like this, by the way, I think he was wearing a bright pink tie. I don't know if I've ever seen him wear a bright pink tie before. Look good. He doesn't seem to be stressed. He doesn't seem to be worried and anxious. So take that for what it's worth. Wanted to get a little bit from the president himself there from the Oval Office. When we come back, Paul Mauro, we're going to talk about Chicago and the tragic death of that Loyola student at the hands of an illegal immigrant. Back in a minute.
About when you're retired, will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
It all comes down to this, folks. Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain. Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast! Speaking of fast, did you just see that play? Yeah, he vaporized that ball. That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do? My refund, though. I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
At a local speed dating event, homeowners weren't looking for love. They were looking for the one.
Honey, I got the best news.
What, you installed all the ceiling fans?
No, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Yeah, oh, you are, but this one is certified, background check, and everyone was fighting over him. Plus, he can install all the ceiling fans.
Okay, who is this guy?
A Jerry Kelly technician.
For heating, cooling, electrical, or plumbing, find the one for your home. Schedule today at
JerryKelly.com.
From Fox and Friends, The Brian Kilmeade Show, and One Nation.
This is not going to be a show that you're expecting.
An entertaining, inspiring night that brings history to life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Kilmeade!
Brian Kilmeade, Uniting the States Tour.
Incredible. I learned so much.
I love Brian.
Because we do watch him all the time.
Saturday, November 21st, The Factory. Get tickets now at thefactorystl.com. Brian Kilmeade.
KFTK FM Florissant.
An Odyssey station.
Cautious optimism from the president. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Well, I think we're going to end it. I can't tell you for sure.
President Trump just telling reporters again that Iran will make a deal.
You know, I don't like to say this. We've won this. This war has been won.
He says Iran is totally defeated, also again defending the fight to prevent Iran from having a nuclear weapon. Iran initially denied having talks with the U.S., but the foreign minister has held calls with several countries looking to act as mediators. The president taking questions in the Oval Office after the swearing in of Senator Mark Wayne Mullen as the new head of Homeland Security.
I don't care what color your state is. I don't care if you're red or you're blue. At the end of the day, my job is to be Secretary of Homeland and to protect everybody the same. And we will do that.
His department is more than 5 weeks into a funding shutdown that's causing TSA staffing issues and long security lines at airports as Democrats push for immigration enforcement reforms. The president moments ago not ruling out support for using a budget process to get around the Senate filibuster to end the shutdown. The NTSB just holding a briefing on the deadly collision of an Air Canada plane and a fire truck Sunday night at New York's LaGuardia Airport.
We have seen different information about how many certified professional controllers were in the facility.
NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy says there were 2 air traffic controllers on duty in the tower cab, less than 2 hours into a night shift at the time. But they're still working to verify who was handling which duties. Also just confirming the fire truck involved did not have a transponder, which is needed to trigger a warning system. Preliminary information from the cockpit voice recorder just released shows the truck heading to an incident involving a different flight was granted clearance to cross the runway less than 30 seconds before the recording ends. The tower telling the truck to stop at 9 seconds and 4 seconds. America's listening to Fox News.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Pretty weather on this Tuesday afternoon. Partly to mostly sunny, 65, 47 in clouds tonight. Wednesday, sunny, warming up to 78. Thursday, opening day, sunny, hot, 92 degrees. Here come showers and thunderstorms late Thursday night into Friday morning, and only 52 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get a free air scrubber and breathe healthy indoor air when you replace your HVAC system. Plus, you may qualify for rebates up to $2,600 and 0% financing up to 72 months. For a free estimate, aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down.
So there you have the mayor of Chicago. He's doing a bang-up job, you might say, in Chicago, talking about how you can't incarcerate your way out of violence. Well, what is it that we're trying to do in Chicago? Because a Loyola student decided to take a walk, and she was gunned down by an illegal immigrant with priors who was out and about. And if you ask the Chicago older woman what happened, the guy who had a gun got startled. Chicago is not okay. And we got to figure out how to get rid of the violence that is taking place there. Let's talk to Paul Mauro back here on the Annie Fry Show with us, Fox News contributor, retired NYPD inspector, attorney, and founder of theopsdesk.org. I encourage you to check out that website and read it. Paul Mauro, thank you for being with us today. It's good to have you back with us.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to give you open season right now on the situation in Chicago. You've got a mayor who says he's standing right in front of the governor when he says this as well. So they're in lockstep on this. You can't incarcerate your way out of violence. Whatever Chicago is doing also doesn't seem to be the answer.
No, it really doesn't. And what's so shameful is that they're lying. And the model that would work that doesn't implicate any of the defenses that they traditionally use to cooperating with ICE, the way forward on that has been demonstrated in a bipartisan way up in Minnesota. The Minneapolis deal, for lack of a better term, that Holman cut in Minneapolis, I think, shows the way forward that 80 to 90% of the country is on board with, which is the following. Number one, you don't need warrants, all right? The Democrats keep saying, you want to get this body out of here, and we have them, you got to come with a warrant. Well, they let in 15 million illegals. 15 million warrants would shut down the federal government courts from now until doomsday. So you don't need a warrant, nor do we even need the detainers under the Minneapolis deal. Detainer is an extra 48 hours after the state could have held the body, rather than releasing the person, an extra 48 hours for ICE to come and get that person, okay? And that's a civil mechanism from the federal government that the Democrats always say they won't go along with, and they don't have to because it's civil and it's federal. Okay, put that on the table. Take those two, which are their two lines of defense here, and throw them both out. Because under the Minneapolis deal, it's very simple. Holman got them to agree up there, and that's as left as it goes, Waltz and Frey.
Yeah.
If you have somebody in jail, just call us. If you have somebody in jail that's deportable, and you can see it from the computer at the city and state level, you call us. That's it. We'll come get them while you have them. No 48 hours extra, no warrant. Just let us know you have this person. Why would you not want to do that? because then you don't have to be responsible for their care and feeding. It's going to save you a fortune, city and state, and we'll come take that person, a criminal, off your hands while you have the body. Also, when you arrest people going forward, same thing. Just call us. We'll take it over. You don't have to now process the arrest for robbery, whatever. We'll take the body and we'll send the guy back to Ecuador. And that would be the end of it. That's the deal that Holman cut. That's the worst first. That dovetails with exactly what the electorate wants. And they just won't go along with it because they're afraid of mission creep, because they need that 10 to 15 million illegals for the 2030 census.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so it's so plain and obvious to see what the, like you mentioned, the left of the left with Mayor Fry and Governor Walz, what they're trying to do in Minnesota. When we look at some of the other instances where we have these just absolute heinous, senseless crimes that are taking place, the name Sheridan Gorman is one that everybody should know, an 18-year-old Loyola student in Chicago who was taken by a 25-year-old Venezuelan national. It's just so incredibly senseless. But I guess you get the government that you vote for. Is there anything that you want to see from a law and order standpoint? Is there anything that can be done federally to places like Minnesota and Illinois where these sanctuary states have invited this type of activity to happen to the people who live there?
Yeah, there are things, and that's why I went into that. And I know it's a little bit in the weeds, but this is what you always hear. Get a warrant, and we won't cooperate with detainers. And as I said, the mechanism is to take those two off the table and at least deal for now with the people that got arrested. Now, how could you manage to muscle? Ostensibly, Minneapolis and Minnesota are cooperating under the Holman deal, or along the lines of what I just laid out. If you want to get other jurisdictions to do that, at least for now, New York, Chicago. New York doesn't cooperate either, by the way. Chicago, LA, all the big cities where this would really, really be an issue, is if you're the federal government, you got to really start to go at the state and locals in the way that they're going at you. Now, what does that mean? Okay, they won't cooperate. They won't call you, federal government, when they have somebody that's deportable that's been arrested. All right, and hasn't shown up for a court date, by the way, which is what happened with this recent shooter that killed this poor Sheridan Gorman. Well, then, allegedly. Well, then, okay, as the federal government, we got a couple of mechanisms. Number one, you can forget your funding, all right? Every large police department in this country gets funding from the federal government, period, end of story. Cut that off. And that's well-settled law. You can do that, all right? Cut that. Number two, cut their access to the databases. If they're not going to what do they need access to the federal databases if they won't cooperate with the federal government? And we're not going to talk to you either, state and locals. So, we got a big investigation going on. We're going to take 15 bodies on a big cartel case going on in Chicago. What, you want to be dealt in on that? Sorry, you won't talk to us. You've decided you're a separate sovereign and you're not going to cooperate. So we're not going to cooperate with you either. And let the walls get higher and wider, because that's what they're setting up. Now, I've been in this spot from both sides, in a federal task force, but also as a local working for NYPD. The cooperation, the collaboration is key. You have to do that. And that's how you make the big cases and keep places safe. But when the city and states have decided we're not going to cooperate with you, federal government, because we're a separate sovereign and we can do what we want, all right, that's how you want it. Well, then let's have it that way. And you see how long it lasts.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden the federal government is making all the cases in these places, the state and locals know nothing about it, and their funding has been cut off and they've been kicked out of the task forces, the terrorists and other task forces around the nation, and see if they get the message that, I get it. The federal government does have some muscle here and we do need them.
Paul Mauro speaking with us, Fox News contributor, founder of the opsdesk.org, retired NYPD inspector and attorney. When these stories come through and we learn the name Sheridan Gorman and the other names, the list of names that have been recognized by...
They're all women,
they're young women who are out living their lives. And
that's right.
If the story, I hate to put it this way, but when the genders or the races or the religions line up a different way, it becomes a clarion call for the leftist political party. They take to the streets, they burn things down. But young white girl after young white girl going out for a run, existing in the world, there aren't going to be protests in the street for her. Do there need to be? Do people need to rise up in mass in public in order to get this through the leadership of these areas that are inviting these immigrants here who are illegally here, violent, not arresting them, not detaining them, not turning them over to Homeland Security? What needs to happen?
I think the thing here is that the right doesn't do that. And it's a very simple metric as to why, and any cop will tell you this. It's because the conservatives are all at work. You can get 100,000 people on a Tuesday afternoon working day anywhere in Manhattan or anywhere in New York City at the drop of a dime because all of these protesters are home and addicted to social media and have decided that, they got gig work and they're waiting for Mayor Mamdani to deliver turkeys to their door. But they got plenty of time to get out into the street. I mean, they'll hold a No Kings protest in the middle of a workday and you'll get 100,000 people. It's just because this is what they do. It's actually in many instances a paid gig, which of course we've all talked about. Yeah. So the right doesn't do that. The right tends to, they'll do it on a weekend. It has to be much more planned. What you can do on the right is continue to do what we're doing, I think, and what you're doing, what we're doing right now is continue to raise awareness and let people realize that it's not you. You're not crazy. And where that devolves to is hopefully the ballot box where people finally go in and say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I am going to pull the lever for a Republican, which maybe I've never done before, because we're tired of seeing our door. The only way you would get 100,000 of the left out in the streets to demonstrate for, let's say, Laken Riley, Sheridan Gorman, or Jocelyn Nungaray, Rachel Morin, all right, people like this who have been killed by migrants that are simply out of control, is if they weren't real women that had been killed, they transitioned. Yeah. And if all of these were transitioned women, men to women, then maybe you'd get some attention from our supposed leaders in these blue cities. But as genetic women, nobody's interested.
And we lost our culture of valuing life. It's very hard to parse all of these different existences. Life is life, and it should be valued, and it should be protected. It just doesn't seem like it is. We're speaking with Paul Mauro right now. I'm thinking about what you're saying there. It's almost as if the conservative protest is at the ballot box, and if we don't, that kind of brings us back full circle here, because as you mentioned, the whole Homeland Security effort to try to deport the people who are here illegally, there's a necessity for the likes of Brandon Johnson and Pritzker and Walz and Fry to keep those people here, to skew a census, to skew an electorate, which makes me feel like the Save America Act is even more important to fortify an actual reflection of the American people in our election system.
That's right. And that's why they're willing to sacrifice blood here to hang on. I don't care what they tell themselves in their heart of hearts. What they're worried about is that they are going to lose. They're definitely going to lose seats in the 2030 census. That's inarguable. So many people have fled Illinois, New York, California. I could go on, and for all the usual reasons: the atmosphere, the quality of life, the taxes, the crime, etc. But if, in fact, a couple of things happen here, they may never get the House back in our lifetimes. One of them being what we're talking about, which is the Trump administration continues to put the pedal to the metal to deport not only the worst first, but then gets to the point where, okay, we've gotten most of those that we can out. The program is concretized. It's institutionalized. It's working. There's a workflow. We're getting these people out. ICE is responding to the jails and to arrests. All right. Now what do? Well, we got all these ICE guys that we hired because, as we they went on a hiring spree. Mm-hmm. We're going to start just grabbing people at the Home Depots, all the stuff that the left just cannot countenance. And the reason for it is because they're not citizens and they are deportable by definition, period. But as we said, they're holding the line there because if it keeps going, you'll lose the census. The other thing that can happen here is the redrawing of the districts. Now, the SCOTUS is going to weigh in on that reportedly this spring. Mm-hmm. And under the Voting Rights Act, all of those districts, voting districts, congressional voting districts that have been redrawn along racial lines, they're going to go. The court has signaled very, very strongly that those are going to go. Now, I hope they have time to reconfigure all this before the midterms. Yeah. But if you do those two things, which look like they're coming, along with a couple of legislative things that are on the agenda that I'm watching, there's a very good chance that the left, who are counting on the midterms here, are not going to get what they want, and they're certainly not going to get it after 2030, and they know that. And so they're fighting that tooth and nail, because if it actually comes down to the will of the American citizens, not gaming the system, but the actual voting public, they're not going to win, and they may not win for a very long time.
Paul Mauro, last question before we let you go. We're grateful for your time this afternoon. If you've got a young daughter going off to college in Minnesota, in Chicago, in New York City, and Los Angeles, any of these areas where they are welcoming the sanctuary status and really making it a lead issue politically for these areas, are you worried that your daughter is not safe living their life at 7 p.m. on an evening, taking a stroll out on a pier? Are you more concerned there?
Sure. How could you not be? First of all, I would say the following, and just a little bit off topic, but I don't know that college is going to survive in its current form over the next, let's say, 10 to 20 years. It's becoming more and more obsolete with AI. I have a lot of nieces and nephews in school right now, and a lot of them are hearing that, you know what, your degree is not going to be worth much because AI is replacing a lot of that stuff. So what's it become? It's become a little bit of a socialization process for our young people, and they're getting socialized in all the wrong reasons. So first thing I would say is examine your presence and make sure, your premise rather, and make sure that you need college. But if you do go, do all the usual common sense things. Don't get separated from your friends. Stay together. Don't go home with strange people. Don't end up in a situation where you don't have a ride home. Make sure that your phone is trackable. All that kind of stuff that, I think is common sense. There's numerous resources for these kinds of things online. But yeah, if it were my daughter and she was going off to a school in one of these areas, I'd be terrified.
Yeah. Ugh, it's sickening. We thank you for your insight, Paul Mauro. Thanks for being with us. We'll look forward to having you back again sometime soon.
Anytime, Annie. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Fox News contributor, retired NYPD inspector, attorney, and founder of theopsdesk.org. Go read his stuff there. It's really helpful and insightful to understand a lot of these situations involving these criminal actions and the state of law and order in various places throughout the country. It's a head scratcher. And I just think about Sheridan's family and how it's just unreal that we live in a state that Chicago has become this city where when something like that happens, the Fox News report here, Jose Medina, a 25-year-old Venezuelan national, was arrested on Friday after allegedly killing Sheridan Gorman one day earlier near Toby Prince Beach. A police source earlier told Fox News that the Thursday shooting was an apparent ambush, adding that the suspect was reportedly wearing some kind of face mask or covering. The alderwoman from Chicago says that it looks like one of those wrong place, wrong time situations. The alderwoman from Chicago says that maybe a person with a gun was startled. These people are sick people. And Chicago is a sick city, and Illinois is a sick state. And it has to be made to be well. Something has to change. Like, lives count on it. We'll get Ethan back in here for Ethan's sports and local next. Don't go away.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit ThrottleNet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. If you want to take your lawn from good to great, I want you to call lawn enforcement. My friends at lawnenforcement.com will get the job done for you. I called Brandon up, and he's going to come over and make my yard great again. They do expert lawn care service. This is what they do. That keeps your yard in order. It lets them bring order to your lawn and your landscape so you can enjoy it, right? You leave the maintenance to them. Anybody can mow your grass. What lawn enforcement does is different. It's not just the mowing and the trimming. They do fertilization and weed control. They can do erosion control as well, plus landscape design. That's all part of it. The installation, the flowers, the shrubbery, the trees, the hardscapes, you name it, all projects, large and small. So instead of envying your neighbor's lawn, your neighbors are going to be wishing they had lawn enforcement on the job. Take your lawn from good to great. Take my advice. Go to your lawnenforcement.com.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
You know your customers. Ralph likes his coffee black on Fridays, but Mondays he takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model. And for some reason, pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, to targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization, and location-based advertising. Advertise with Odyssey and help us grow your business. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
Hold up. Check it out.
Sports and local.
Hannaford's How We Doing in the City.
Yo, we dropping it live in downtown St. Louis. Days away from opening day. Days away from opening day. Yeah, that's what is that? What is that?
What do you think?
Sponsored by, is this the right one?
Oh, that one. Right. I was getting there.
It's hard to
Been
tell.
killing my vibe the last couple of days here, Annie, with this whole
I need you to speak in a 40 and older
sponsored by All Financial here at
Woo, yeah.
Beacon Sports and Local.
AUL.
Yesterday, the Cardinals had their yearly event leading up to opening day where they basically present to all St. Louis media all of the nude food that's going to be coming.
Nude food?
The new food.
That's what I heard.
You said nude food. And if you were Ryan Wiggins, I wouldn't let you get away with that.
Well, I'm not Ryan Wiggins, so you should let me get away with it.
Man, the Cardinals pulling out all the stops this year. The nude food. Is that why you're not here on Thursday?
Yes, because I'll be eating the nude food.
I thought maybe you'd be serving it at the nude food bar. Celebrity guest server Ethan Hannaford.
Nope.
In the nude.
Maybe.
Nope.
I didn't want to say that I'd be eating the food nude, so I was going to say that Ryan will be eating the food nude, but that's not much better.
So what do I have to do to get this food?
Nude?
Okay.
I'm going to tell you guys about some of the new stuff that's going to be coming to the ballpark.
Probably should start with the hot dogs.
You do have to be clothed to be in attendance.
Is it written anywhere? Did they actually put that in writing? I don't know that you have that in writing. I think you're just making an assumption.
As someone that was employed by the St. Louis Cardinals.
Can we talk about why you're not employed anymore?
LLC for 2 years. I'm going to make a safe assumption that you do need to be clothed in order to attend.
It's good that 2 years later you're finally ready to talk about it.
You are painting me in a bad picture.
I would never.
You are. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the different food options that you're going to be able to have at the ballpark this year. There's some new vendors. There is some local connection to St. Louis this year. Have you ever been to a St. Louis City SC game, Annie?
No.
You haven't? Okay. Brad, you have.
I have, yeah.
So you know all about all of the St. Louis specialty food that they bring in the chefs from different restaurants in the area that
they have the different kiosks, like you would go up to it like you would at the Nacho Bar at St. Louis at the Busch Stadium, and they would have actually like a High Point drive-in or somebody local like that there.
So the Cardinals are going to be doing something similar this year. This is what they're calling the Made in the Lou series. Each month, a different St. Louis area vendor will set up shop near Gate 2, which is by home plate, as a part of the new rotating series. The main goal, to spotlight local businesses, introduce fans to new concepts, and celebrate diverse food scenes across the St. Louis region. I love that they are doing this. I think St. Louis City has hit a slam dunk with this. The food is really good over there, and I hope that it works for the Cardinals.
Is there a soccer reference that you can use instead of slam dunk? I was going to just insert it, but I...
Golazo!
Oh! I don't know.
But you have to drag it out for 10 seconds.
For all the breath in your lungs.
Golden goal.
Kanoa's Hawaiian Grill will be there for the start of the season from opening day till the end of April.
A question? Mm-hmm. Are these supposed to be St. Louis affiliated, like a kiss to St. Louis in the foods, or it's just themed foods?
I'm not entirely sure. I believe that it is, like I said, not entirely positive, but I'm pretty sure most of these are restaurants here.
Maybe there's a restaurant affiliation, but the food, it's not going to just all be gooey butter cake and toasted ravioli.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, yes.
I don't know why not, but...
Kanoa's, which will be here to start the season, offers a variety of Hawaiian-styled proteins, most notably a pulled pork option called Kalua Pig. Yum. Hawaiian-style mac salad, white rice, several chicken options. In May, it's going to be K-bop, which is a variety of Korean-style bowls.
K-bop.
You get that?
I get it.
Noodles, spicy meats. The fattened calf is going to be here from the end of May to throughout the majority of June. That is Filipino barbecue entrees, skewers, bowls, bacon strips on a stick. Yum.
I just had an idea for a food. It's an obnoxious food.
Go ahead.
It's too bad Ryan's not here because I think he might. Do you guys like gooey butter cake?
I do like gooey
It's
butter
just
cake.
sugar and butter with some eggs in it.
I like the gooey butter cookies more than gooey butter cake.
Those are good too. Yeah, gooey butter cake is good.
Mm-hmm.
Do you you know how you can like take everything and deep fry it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you
oh boy,
just listen. I mean, what could be more St. Louis than gooey butter cake on the inside of a deep fried something that looked like toasted ravioli, like a pastry?
Ooh,
Wouldn't that be really amazing? Has that been done?
So you're saying instead of it being like
It's
the
gonna-
meat and the sauce inside, you
Yeah.
want gooey butter.
And like pastry, it needs to look like a toasted ravioli, but it'd be like a toasted gooey butter cake ravioli thing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be good?
Oh, that'd be real
Toasted gooey butter.
That's something that I want to try one bite of and never
Aioli.
again. Yoli.
Yoli.
And you just add a
Toasted
side of
gooey butter
aioli.
cake aioli. Yeah?
What? I mean, that would be yummy, right?
No, it does sound good.
I don't know how you would take gooey butter cake. You could fry it
You could
and
fry
eat
anything.
it. It would taste great, but you can't eat a lot of it because you could die.
Yeah, use pastry, sprinkle a little cinnamon
Yeah.
sugar.
Right. That does sound good.
Well, I just think powdered sugar.
Ooh, yeah.
You've done it again, Andy Fry.
I know a guy.
See, okay, Ender said, I feel myself gaining weight just listening to this, but it sounds phenomenal. That's what I'm saying. I think it would be a treat. Why hasn't that been done yet? And why am I? It's going to happen now. Someone's going to make a ton of money off of it. And I'm not.
Nothing is stopping you from doing this.
No, there are a whole lot of things stopping
You know
me
what?
from doing
I
it.
don't want to hear your whining and complaining when
If-
someone else does it. Say, that was my idea.
If you're, I've already started. My complaining's already started. If you're a bakery and you try this, will you please just send us some? And if you're multiple bakeries and you try it, we will try them and we will recommend yours based on a scale that Ethan determines.
Yes. That I'm going to keep close to the chest for
Yes.
now as
Okay.
I think and ponder. Taste D Burger STL is coming in July. Offer a variety of burger concepts, toppings, barbecue sauce, coleslaw, Provel cheese, red hot riplets.
You like Red Hot? Those are feistier than they need to be.
Yeah, they are.
A Red Hot
Pack a little
Riplet
punch.
is a delicious chip, but once you eat the third one
like,
in the
woo!
bag, it's like, this is a work. Yes.
Yeah. Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill will be coming to the ballpark in August. Offers a variety of Cajun and New Orleans-style foods, most notably gator bites. You want some gator bites, Andy Fry?
About that
huh?
life, man.
Well, you go to Busch Stadium from August 7th to August 30th, and you could get some gator bites.
If I did, I would.
And then they haven't announced what will be there in September to conclude the season.
Are these so people know that I have an affinity for
Gator
Orlando,
bites.
Florida, and Disney stuff, but they do so many food things there. They're just made to take pictures. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess they're good or whatever, people eat them, but the Instagrammability of a dish is a key part. And I've noticed ballparks doing that now in a big way for a few years. I saw Arizona had a Fruity Pebble covered some
I think
sort
it's
of
Philadelphia. It's a Schwarbomb. I was just looking at it a second
Well,
ago.
I know it was connected with Jason. They're talking about Jason Kelsey's. That makes sense, but I felt like it was Arizona. I felt like they were inviting.
Well-
but anyway, but like these, they're just. I'm sitting here talking about an individual gooey butter cake toasted ravioli thing, but like the obnoxiousness of some of these things that they put together for visual purposes. They're 5 desserts in one, so that you can take a picture of it, and then what do? You mark it for the entity putting out this food, and everyone's like, "Oh, where did you get that? I gotta try one."
Yeah.
And then you pay to go to the game and blah blah blah.
It gives off like soda fountain vibes.
Yeah.
Union Station, all the
Yeah,
fancy looking shakes and stuff.
They're real fun and pretty, but I just don't know who could consume that.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. I was gonna say like you put 2 people on it or 3 people on it, all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's like it's perfect.
Yeah,
but for one
nothing
person,
like sharing ice cream with
it
people.
is. Yeah, true. It is a lot. There's gonna be we talked about the Coca-Cola Unlimited experience that's going to be at Big Mac Land in 271 and 272, where you have, the option to get a bunch of unlimited foods, including hot dogs, chicken tenders, nachos, fries, popcorn, peanuts, ice cream cups, soda or Coca-Cola brand fountain drinks. So on a bottomless basis, that is absolutely genius from the Cardinals, especially in a year where you're really trying to figure out new ways to sell tickets. Kudos to them for coming up with that. This one is very St. Louis themed. There's going to be a "Where'd you go?" pop-up bar, with the idea being, where'd you go to high school?
I watched the video of this on, I think, the Cardinals' X account, and I was looking very closely to see if the green and gold Knights were in there, and it was on the end of because they have all these pennants, and I was like, yes, the Knights made the cut. Woo-hoo! And then I went back to see, I'm like, are they going to put midgets on there? And I don't think they did.
Oh.
But we got to look again.
The experience will feature...
Brad is a midget. I think they left you off.
I was on the Scholar Bowl team.
They're going to feature a display with more than 80 St. Louis area high school banners, another display for photo opportunities with a locker room, desks, and numbers to switch for one's high school graduation year, and a St. Louis Wall of Fame honoring St. Louis-made celebrities. Of course, the bar will offer plenty of drinks, specialty cocktails, NA beverages as well. The high school
non-alcoholic beverages.
Yeah. NA, sorry. The high school themed pop-up will last through mid-May before a new themed experience will arrive.
Oh, so that's going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get your picture with your pennant in
At the
front of the bar,
ballpark.
you need to get there.
Yeah. They're going to have some new foods, including gooey butter cake on a stick.
If it turned into a gooey butter cake T-Rav, I was going to...
How crazy would that have been
turn
if
the
I waited
tables.
just to drop that one on you? Fans can top it with 4 icing flavors like chocolate and raspberry. Those will be available at the Gas House Grill near home plate.
Topping your gooey butter cake with more dessert is like how... I was going to say men, which might be sexist, but how men are like, what meat could I garnish my meat with? They give it a burger, and you're like, I should put some
The
pork
answer's
on
bacon.
this.
The answer's always bacon.
How about an egg?
That's not a meat. You watch your mouth.
Close enough.
I would call it it's a protein. I don't know. We could fight over whether it's a meat or not. Is an egg a meat?
No, not a meat.
I think it is.
I actually...
Stop it. We are not doing this right now. Let me finish my segment.
314-241-9797. I need hot takes in the text that Ethan is going to have to read. Are eggs meat? They're on their way to being, for sure.
Crumble Cookies will be back at the ballpark this year. Big Chicken, which is offering chicken and waffles this year, but they're the ones that, like, in the past have offered, like, the fried chicken donut sandwiches. I don't know if you've seen those. Those have been there the last couple of years.
Donut sandwiches.
Yes.
It's a journey.
Info
Dude calls it pre-meat.
So this is just a few of the things that are going to be there, but the Cardinals are definitely taking the food options up a notch in 2026, which is exciting. That's fun. So,
Quick Rick says, do you go to Busch for baseball or eating? This year?
It depends on the person. It totally depends on the person. If you're going, like, for the family vibes, then eating's a huge part of it.
Here's a start to what we're going to do here in the coming weeks, where we're going to have a segment where I read you things off X and you're going to confirm or deny.
No.
This is from Cardinals Stats and Facts, if that means anything to you. It does? At STL_stats_facts. The Cardinals are the only team in the MLB without a former All-Star on their team, and yes, that includes the White Sox and the Rockies. They also have 0 position players who played in the 2010s. Every player made their debut in 2020 or later. It's a new era.
I mean, guys, let's be real here. Oh, in the 2010s. I was thinking the 2000s.
2010s.
Okay. All right, so we're talking
saying
even.
This says every player made their debut in 2020 or later. They're not criticizing.
Sure.
They're just the end of this. The summation is it's a new era.
Well, it makes it very real. Exactly. This is the start of a rebuild. This is the start of refreshing and getting this team younger. It certainly is a sobering thought to think that there is not a previous All-Star on this team. Because you think back on the history of the Cardinals, and there's just all-star names that have been loaded year after year. So it certainly is the start of a new phase for St. Louis. But
he follows up to say, or she, the Cardinals had 6 current or former All-Stars on their 2025 roster: Donovan, Contreras, Arenado, Michaelis, Helsley, and Gray. 5 of them were traded, and 1 became a free agent.
Yes.
I just think that it's good to talk about when you're managing expectations, but is this just the way forward for the St. Louis Cardinals, or if you're saying you rebuild, then this is not it. We're building, meaning we're getting greater. I think it becomes more fun to cheer for the baby birds, which I haven't referred to the Cardinals as the baby birds for a long time, but to cheer for the baby birds while they're out there so that, it's more fun to root for them when you know that you're the underdog.
One of the biggest issues with this team the past couple of years has been just how thin their farm system has been. You guys haven't liked watching the product on the field. Well, it hasn't been any better down low, and that has changed in the last 2 years. They've completely resurrected this system. It's a top 2 system in baseball. So there's a lot of depth, and there's going to be more talent on the way coming up, and that's something to be excited about. So I agree with the baby birds reference. It's good. It's a different way to take it in, but
just got to know what you can.
The quicker
reasonably
these
expect.
guys have success, the quicker the Cardinals are going to be back to their winning ways.
Yeah, and it can be kind of fun to see what you can do when expectations are really low for output. When you start succeeding, it's a more exciting kind of success.
Hear this music?
Yeah.
It's Bryan Adams.
Yes.
He's coming to St. Louis in July.
Ooh,
that's why it's here.
Where's he playing?
July 24th, Enterprise Center, 7:30, with guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Giraldo?
I don't even know.
Giraldo.
We'll be right back. Don't go away. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. Let me talk to you a little bit about peering, and I'm going to invite you to join me at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com so you can learn about all the services offered at Home Shield Foundation Repair. Matt Hayes and his incredible team from the bottom up built right here in St. Louis. These are local people, and they go beyond with every project that they do, with every customer that they meet. They want to make sure that you walk away telling everybody about Home Shield Foundation Repair so that you understand that they are going to work from the very start, when the first handshake, hi, nice to meet you, to the very end. You're going to be proud to say that you hired Home Shield Foundation Repair. Now, if you've got a foundation concern where they've noticed in your home maybe a crack in the wall, in the drywall, in the paint that wasn't there before, maybe some shifting in the brick where you see that stair stepping across the brick part of your home, you likely have a foundation concern. How big of a deal is it? Well, invite Matt Hayes out to your home so he can tell you what you're looking at. He's going to offer you full solutions to your problems so you don't have to worry about it anymore. Protect your home. Restore that foundation with Home Shield Foundation Repair. 314-271-9900. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My best advice to you when hiring a lawyer for your injury case is simple. If you know court personnel, ask them who they'd hire. They know. If you know an insurance adjuster, ask them. They know. And then ask them about us. Ask them about Morgan & Morgan. They know. I look forward to talking to you soon. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm for the people. Injured? Dial pound law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Shoot your shot on Prize Picks and get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting. So don't miss this chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code ROAM. Get a $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code ROAM on Prize Picks to get a $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. It's going to be right. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Okay, I have some really good news. While we do have the 0% a lot, we do have it on our regular products because you will be unbelievably shocked, especially if you call me and I'll give you the straight up scoop on how much money you can actually save by if you spent $20,000 versus $10,000 on a system. The difference could be as little as, I don't know, let's just say, not to exaggerate, 5 cents. So be careful out there and always remember your energy savings is based on your house. It is not based on the equipment. So common sense advice and help and guidance. Again, call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest, 314-293-2600. Again, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, that is bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
If you live in Missouri, have Medicaid, and need a caregiver, this message is important. Care at home is personal. That's why you may not want a stranger in your home to take care of you. You want someone who already knows you and your daily routines. With Freedom Care, you choose a trusted family member, a friend, or a neighbor. They will get paid after every shift to care for you, and it's 100% free to you. More than 70,000 people have already joined the Freedom Care family. Call your local Freedom Care. They'll check your Medicaid eligibility. Don't wait until a stranger shows up at your door. If you have Medicaid and need help at home, this care is available 100% free to you. Call Freedom Care now to see if you qualify. 314-343-1362. 314-343-1362. That's 314-343-1362.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Here it is. It's your chance to win tickets to see Kilmeade on November 24th. I've got 2 tickets for you. Their prize is provided by The Factory, which is also where he's performing. Be the 12th caller at 314-241-9797, and you'll win a pair of tickets. That's 314-241-9797, caller number 12. The time is 2:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Hard to stop the hook. Love that song. Governor Pritzker was just asked about the circumstance in that Loyola student where Sheridan Gorman her life was taken, and it was by an illegal immigrant who should have been deported, had been arrested, had been released and told to come back for a court date, didn't. Showed up for a murder, though. The report from Fox News suggests that he was wearing a mask. He was armed, obviously, not legally, which is shocking because he's in Chicago. We have rules for those things in Chicago. Sheridan Gorman lost her life because of this. Here is Governor Pritzker commenting on when he was asked about the death of this 18-year-old Loyola student.
There have been real failures. Those failures, of course, extend beyond the borders of Illinois. They're national failures, a failure to have comprehensive immigration reform, a failure of the president to follow his own edict to go after the worst of the worst.
Excuse me. Here you have the governor of the state of Illinois when asked about the death of Sheridan Gorman. Willfully admitting that they are failures, but saying these failures go up to the top. That there have been failures to have comprehensive immigration reform. When did all the immigrants come into this country? Now, they've been flooding in over the course of decades, yes, but when did we see retractions? When did we see deportations? Barack Obama was criticized for being the deporter-in-chief. Donald Trump comes in, wins his first term with the campaign promise of build the wall. Turned out that was a pretty popular opinion. Got him elected. He loses in 2020. Joe Biden comes in, kicks the front door, the back door, the windows, everything wide open, says, come on in. He said that. He said that in the Democrat primary. He said, come. He was not secretive about it. He said, come. And his criticism right now is that Donald Trump hasn't been tough enough on immigration. Oh, my gosh. What is the matter with this man? He's absolutely a delusional trying to be polite as much as I can. He's delusional. He's power hungry. And he's so comfortable. He's so used to being able to say these things out in the open and not be checked on it in the state of Illinois. He just says things because it gets him where he needs to be within the confines of the state of Illinois. But he doesn't, he wants to win the governor. He wants to win his third term. Mr. No King's 3-term J.B. Pritzker here. This November, he's running to be the governor once again. So he can complete 12 years as the governor, and maybe 10 if he wants to try to run for president. He's going to try to persuade the rest of the country to go the way of Illinois. Gavin Newsom in California, what are these people going to say to the folks that are in Virginia, that are in Pennsylvania, that are in Wisconsin? I mean, good grief. Wisconsin knows how dumb J.B. Pritzker is. Why? Because a lot of people in Wisconsin used to live in Illinois. The people of Michigan going to be like, J.B. Pritzker, man, he's really figured it out in Illinois. There's people that have moved out of the state of Illinois, have gone to Michigan. They fled. Take some ownership. Take some responsibility. Fix the problem. I'm straining to find something that this governor has done to make the state better. And I don't know what it is. He's still holding in his hand the opportunity to bless children in the state of Illinois with these scholarship dollars that have been passed in the big, beautiful law that took place last year. It is law. These scholarship dollars are going to come flooding in the door come January 2027, because the big, beautiful law makes your federal tax credit of $1,700 individually, $3,400 filing jointly. You get to determine of your total tax obligation, do I want $1,700 to go to the federal government, or do I want it to go to a kid who can use it in their public education, in their private education, in their homeschooling, for uniforms, for supplies, for needs that these children, tutoring, for helping these kids actually, maybe get to grade level in their reading, writing, their arithmetic. This administration, the president has put into a place where money can come flooding to help these kids, and it does not discriminate against a child. It doesn't say only for public school kids. It doesn't say for only parochial or private school kids. If you're a student in the United States of America and your governor says you're allowed to, you get to benefit from these dollars that are come flooding in. And they're going to be there, folks. They're going to be there in such a large number. And right now, Governor Pritzker has the door closed on that for Illinois students. Right now, Governor Pritzker has said, no, I'm not ready to let the students of Illinois benefit from these monies that are going to come in. If you're an Illinois taxpayer, then you're a federal taxpayer, and you're going to get the credit. You're going to be able to write that check for $1,700, send it into the system, and you're going to get that $1,700 tax credit on your federal income taxes. But that money is going to go to a kid in Missouri. That money is going to go help a public school kid who's struggling in an underserved district get the tutoring that he needs in order to be a grade level for his math. In Indiana, in Kentucky, in Wisconsin, elsewhere, in Colorado, where the Democrat governor of Colorado has said, this is the most obvious no-brainer ever. Governor Pritzker has his hand closing the door on that right now for students in Illinois, saying, nope, not you. You will not benefit from this. All he's got to do is turn the door and open it up, and that money starts flooding into Illinois students. Once the program starts getting funded come January 2027, it's all up to Governor Pritzker. The teachers union is freaking out about it because he hasn't definitively said no yet, but he hasn't said yes. When will King Pritzker let the children have access to the scholarship dollars that their families are going to donate to that are going to go to other states, that are not going to come to the kids of Illinois? When is Governor Pritzker going to permit the students of Illinois to benefit from these dollars? He hasn't yet. And if you think that that should happen, you should call the governor. You should email the governor. You should let the governor know in the most respectful of terms, please permit the children of the state of Illinois to benefit from these dollars that all of their surrounding states are going to. Governor Pritzker, you want to do something we can agree on? Isn't there something that we can agree on? This is it. Don't stand in the way of children and their ability to access those dollars that are coming in that would benefit them so greatly. Don't do it. You don't even have to get out of the way. You just have to open the door and say, scholarship dollars, come on in. Help these kids. Show me across the state of Illinois, Governor Pritzker, where we're really killing it from an education standpoint. I don't care if you're in public education, parochial education, Lutheran education, like I send my kids and like I graduated from, homeschooling. There's a whole bunch of different ways that a kid can get an education. But right now there's money to be had. As soon as this gets put into place in 2027, and right now Governor Pritzker has said, not for you, Illinois kiddos, not for you. We'll wait and see if he makes a definitive decision on that. And if he does, I will applaud him for it. But get on it. Get it done. The YouTube poll for today is air travel, part of your March, April, spring plans, yes or no? It does seem as though that the ICE presence, where it has been interjected into these airports, that it's made a pretty big difference in facilitating the lines and getting the process, keeping it moving it through. And if that continues to be the case, it's probably going to be at least the funniest flex from President Trump to take ICE and inject them into the system the way they did. I hope it continues to be successful, but I really hope that the Democrats get off their tookuses and get there to fund the Department of Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security, who now has a new secretary, Secretary Markwayne Mullin, sworn in. And for the folks at home, Markwayne is one word. I just want to highlight this because it's an interesting point of order that's going to matter now that he's a part of the cabinet. Markwayne, it's like saying Kevin. Markwayne, it's one word. It's a different name, but it is one word. Markwayne Mullin, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. The YouTube live chat poll, we're asking you if you're traveling in the air this March and April, and the votes came in. 88% of you said no, so I guess you're just sitting there with the popcorn waiting to see if the Democrats get off their butts and do their job. Mark Reardon coming up next on 97.1 FM Talk.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
Save money on that spring break trip by turning a college campus visit into a